Hey, what's up, family? Welcome to another live. I'm just gonna wait till more people come and show up on the live. If this is your first time ever coming on this channel or live, please make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it. Just gonna wait till more people come in. I apologize to everybody. I've been away for a minute. So I'm just gonna wait till more people come in. Oh, I see people coming in already. Let's see. Joseph, what's happening, brother? What's going on, everybody? Yeah, I apologize. I know I've been very busy at work. It's been really rough at work. So, Joseph, what is happening? How was your weekend, sir? How was your weekend? I hope you had a fantastic weekend. Marcus, what's up? Marcus, let me tell you, brother, there is a lot of scary stuff going on in the world right now. I just found out some things that I can't even mention on this live. It was good, and my friends did a tour around Washington, D.C. Oh, that was great, Joseph. That is fantastic, brother. I'm glad you had a great weekend, man. I am so happy. Okay, we got 5 people in, so let's go ahead and play the Tony Rome intro, and we're gonna get this party started. All right, here we go.
Tony Rome Live.
What's up, family? What's happening? Welcome to another Tony Rome Live. I am so glad to see you guys again, Joseph, Marcus, everyone that's here. It is good to see everybody. And man, oh man, we have been getting some crazy news that's happening around the world. Let's see what Marcus Dispute Tonight Live does the craziness involve. Yeah, it involves in Colombia. Yeah, I got some things to tell you about Colombia and about the economy too, about the economic collapse. And unfortunately, there's more big layoffs are coming. More big layoffs are coming. Matter of fact, in my neck of the woods in Detroit, you got Stellantis and you have GM are getting ready to lay off thousands of people. Yeah, it's getting ready to get nasty. Most of it is because the tariffs that they're expecting. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. Our economy is not doing very well. The Chinese and the BRICS are killing us. Okay? And we cannot compete with the Chinese. I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to be very difficult to really compete with them because they have found a way to make things better and cheaper. The electric cars that they're making is selling like hotcakes all around the world because the prices of our cars is just a little bit too high, too expensive. That's what I think. But the Chinese are really, they're really, man, I'm telling you, they really got it together. They really got together. Matter of fact, a lot of African countries like Burkina Faso is buying Chinese-made electric vehicles. So basically what we're doing, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. All this stuff talking about taking Panama, taking Greenland, all this stuff is scaring people away. So they said, okay, instead of doing trade with the U.S., I could do trade with Brazil. I could do trade with India. I could do trade with Ethiopia. I could do trade with Burkina Faso. I could do trade with Nigeria. The world is changing. And you cannot threat people to make them do what you want them to do. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. But there are more layoffs are coming. Matter of fact, here we go.
Due to an internal shortage of engines, Stellantis has allocated all available volume to support production of the Ram 1500 at the Sterling Heights assembly plant. As a result, the Warren Truck Assembly...
Wait a minute, what's going on?
GM's Factory Zero is also laying off 200 employees starting today, saying in part, quote, Factory Zero will adjust production to align with market dynamics. Both companies say neither move is tariff-related. AJ says, regardless of the reason, his aunt and hundreds of others are dealing with the fallout.
Everybody else got families, aunties, mamas, and daughters, uncles, whoever provide for their family up there, Y'all laying them off, and they been doing nothing but loyalty to y'all. It really is in the middle, man. It really is caught in the middle because at the end of the day, they know what they doing. They know what they doing. Another layoff? Like, come on, cuz. Like, they know what they doing.
And GM does not have a return to work date for those 200 laid off employees. Stellantis says the employees laid off because of the engine shortage should be expected to be back at work by May, but doesn't have an exact date for that either. And Stellantis is also laying off an additional 900 employees. Those cuts are being directly related to the automotive tariffs. Live from outside of the Warren Truck Assembly Plant, I'm Brittany Toulis for 7 News Detroit this morning.
Yeah, with all those workers laid off, it's going to have a big impact for families all across Metro.
Yeah, it's gonna have a big effect, and because this is Detroit is known to be what you call the Motor City, okay, the motor capital of the world. Most of your cars, everything started here in Detroit, so you got more factory workers here in Detroit than you have anywhere else in the country, so you have a GM and Stellantis, but I haven't heard anything about Ford. But the layoffs are getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And what you're going to have thousands of people walking around unemployed. And when you have thousands of people walking around unemployed, then you have a crime issue. What you going to do? How are those people going to eat? You know what I'm saying? Hey, Marcus, the stock market did very good for the last couple of days. But last week it was kind of scaring me a little bit because I was really losing a lot. I lost like maybe 10% of my my portfolio, about 10%. But within the last couple of days, when Trump said that he wasn't going to enable the tariffs, then the stock market went up a little bit. So I did make some of my money back. So how's everybody else weekend going today? Went this week? What did you do this week, Marcus? So how was your week, Marcus? Okay. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is about what happened in the Dominican Republic. This was a very scary issue that happened in the Dominican Republic. There was a console hall. The roof came in on a lot of people, and this was crazy because I called Razor Rays when I heard about this happening. I was really afraid for him. Smooth Life, what's up? What's up? Hey, sorry I missed you the other day, Smooth Life. We're going to chop it up, brother. We're going to chop it up, Smooth Life. I'm sorry I missed your message. I was at work, brother. Working like a slave. Dallas working like a slave. But this situation in the Dominican Republic was really bad. Hey, Chris, what's up, man? I'm so glad to see y'all. Yeah, salute, Tony. You here? Oh, man. Brother, this is scary, but this is, you know what, Chris? I started not to talk about this. This is scary. This is very, very scary. Salute to I hear about Trump and El Salvadorian president. Say they're going to leave the deportees from Maryland and El Salvador. That is scary. Because what makes this really scary is that they're literally taking people off the street and grabbing them and sending them without due process, without court, without, going to court or anything, and sending them right to that prison. Yeah, that's very scary. That's a very scary situation. So the Supreme Court even said that they want him returned back to the U.S. And they still have, they say there's the guy from, the president from El Salvador, said he's not giving them back. He said that he's not giving them back, Chris. I think Trump, oh man, this is scary. So they can get you and take you away without due process and put you into an El Salvadorian prison. And there will be nothing nobody could do to get you. This is worse than Putin. This is, I thought, hey, what's up, Guru? I haven't seen you in a while, brother. Yeah, they said, but they were wrong. He wasn't MS-13. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but he wasn't. It was a mistake made. And there were several other people, they got caught up into that too, that's being deported. It's not a part of MS-13. So innocent people is being caught into this. Like the guy from Maryland. He had nothing to do with MS-13. But the problem is this, is that everybody's innocent until proven guilty. Just imagine you get arrested and you're taken to jail and you're sentenced in prison without no jury, without no judge, nobody, no lawyer or nothing to hear your case. What you going to do? But they're doing it, Marcus. They are doing it. They are doing it. I'm getting information. I didn't want to talk about this on this live. You know what I'm saying? But they're doing it. It's scary. It's like our country is becoming a police state. You know what I'm saying? It's like things are changing. I've never known us to do anything like this before. Yeah, he was an American citizen. Well, I just played something the other day, Smooth Life, the terrorists, man. A lot of the auto industry is starting to lay off people because of the tariff. Matter of fact, I'm gonna play this for you again, Smooth Light, so you can hear what they were talking about. About the tariffs.
Hundreds of auto workers across Metro Detroit will be temporarily out of a job.
Earlier this month, both General Motors and Stellantis announced they would temporarily lay off workers for reasons that are unrelated to President Trump's tariff war. GM is laying off about 200 workers at its Factory Zero plant in Detroit, while Stellantis is pausing production at the Warren Truck Assembly plant, where about 1,000 workers will be off the job.
7 News Detroit reporter Brittany Toulis is live outside Warren Assembly this morning. And Brittany, you had a chance to speak with someone whose loved one is now one of the people being forced to stay home.
Yeah, Alicia Keenan, we talked with one man named AJ. His aunt has worked at this plant for over 15 years. Starting this morning, she's one of the 1,000 people laid off at Stellantis' Warren Truck Assembly plant. And he says it's a move she did not see coming.
She was basically about to retire, and they doing this, so it's crazy with them, man.
AJ King is talking to us just after hanging up with his aunt, an over 15-year veteran of Stellantis, letting him know she's one of hundreds of employees without a job for the time being.
I just try to tell her, trying to keep her spirits.
I'm going to explain to you why it is
feels
like tariffs.
Dang, you feel me? Like,
but it's not just the tariff.
At the same time, she got years in here too, so she shouldn't be one of the ones that got laid off.
Stellantis announcing April 4th it's laying off 1,000 employees at the Warren Truck Assembly plant, saying in this statement, in part, quote, due to an internal shortage of engines, Stellantis has allocated all available volume to support production of the Ram 1500 at the Sterling Heights Assembly plant. As a result, the Warren Truck Assembly plant will be down beginning April 14th. GM's Factory Zero is also laying off 200 employees starting today, saying in part, quote, Factory Zero will adjust production to align with market dynamics. Both companies say neither move is tariff-related. AJ says, regardless of the reason, his aunt and hundreds of others are dealing with the fallout.
Everybody else got families, aunties, mamas, and daughters, uncles, whoever provide for their family up there, Y'all laying them off, and they been doing nothing but loyalty to y'all. It really is in the middle, man. It really is caught in the middle, because at the end of the day, they know what they doing. They know what they doing. Another layoff? Like, come on, cuz. Like, they know what they doing.
And GM does not have a return to work date for those 200 laid off employees. Stellantis says the employees laid off because of the engine shortage should be expected to be back at work by May, but doesn't have an exact date for that either. And Stellantis is also laying off an additional 900 employees. Those cuts are being directly related to the automotive tariffs. Live from outside of the Warren Truck Assembly plant, I'm Brittany Toulis for 7 News Detroit this morning.
Yeah, with all those workers laid off, it's going to have a big impact for families all across Metro.
You see that? Did you hear that, Smooth Life? Did you hear that? They say it's related to the tariff, but it's more than just a tariff. It's just that the global economy is changing. And one thing I do know is that the Chinese, with that electric vehicle, it's called I think it's called BYC. That car is selling like hotcakes because they came up with a way of doing things cheaper, more economically. You know what I'm saying? And they can offer a better deal. Our cars are just too. I think our vehicles are just too expensive, and we're not doing very well with the electric vehicles. Matter of fact, Africa, Burkina Faso is really buying a lot of electric vehicles. They're buying electric trucks. You know what I'm saying? The Chinese are kicking our butt. They are taking over, man. They are everywhere. And the Chinese is not playing around. Yeah, it's called BYD. Yeah, that's the name of it. It's called BYD. Yes, that's what it's called. That's the name of the electric vehicle that's selling like hotcakes in China. And also they have 5 other manufacturers that are making these electric cars. But that's the way of the future, these electric vehicles. Trump better win this tariff war or the United States is going to lose. The tariff is not going to win. Do you know what actually Do you know what a tariff actually is? A tariff is a tax. I let you guys listen to the professor the other day. That's all it is. It's just another name for a tax. When they send products over here, we put the tariff on it. We put the 25% tariff, a 50% tariff, or a 10% tariff. It's just another name for a tax. And you know who pays the tax? It's the consumer that pays the tariff, not the companies. We pay for the tariff. If I buy these binoculars for $10, and if they decide to put a 10% tax on this pair of binoculars, then that $10, 10% of $10 is $1. So I'll be paying $1 extra for buying these binoculars. That's how the tariffs works. It has nothing to do with the country that's exporting the products over here. It affects the people that's importing the products over here, and they put the tariff on the goods. Both sides can't afford to lose. I know. Yeah, but right now we are, let me tell you something. We are in the middle of a very nasty trade war with China. As a matter of fact, I have a video of a Chinese ambassador, what he had to say. This is getting scary. Let me see. I can't compete with CINA. 1 billion people making only $300 a month on average. Yeah, yep. I think eventually what they're going to do, I think that when these companies lay off everybody, and get rid of them, they're going to employ other people with lower wage. Suppose you're working for a company, you're making $30 an hour, right? You're making $30 an hour. But the company don't want to pay that $30 an hour anymore, and all the benefits stuff they give you. They cut you and let you go, right? Then you be out there with no job, no employment. But there's so many people unemployed, they're willing to take anything. So you lower the wage down to $15 or $14 an hour. People are going to take it. And people are going to take that $14 an hour. So they don't have to pay the $30 an hour. Yep. The richest this is what's going to happen. I think all those people that got laid off for the government, those people was making good money, making good wages, they're going to start hiring those people back with lesser wages. And that's why you're seeing the middle class are being destroyed. There's no longer a middle class anymore. So let's get back to what happened in the Dominican Republic. Yeah, we're going to talk about that more at Smooth Life. But this situation in the Dominican Republic, man, there's been some crazy things that's been going on in the Dominican Republic. First, the disappearance of the girl. Now this thing happened. And there were Americans that was in that concert when that building collapsed, when the roof actually collapsed. There were Americans there. And you remember what I told you guys? I said you have to be prayerful everywhere you go. When you travel, you have to be extremely prayerful. Okay? Check this out.
¿Qué te pasó? Papá, ¿qué te pasó?
de búsqueda y rescate.
A vigil in the Bronx will be held to honor the victims who died in Santo Domingo. Governor Kathy Hochul will be there and deliver remarks. Meanwhile, Mayor Eric Adams flew to the Dominican Republic to pay his respects and show his support to all those impacted by the tragedy. Just a short time ago, he visited the site of the devastating collapse. Eyewitness News reporter Joe Torres joining us live from Washington Heights with more on the mayor's trip. Joe.
David, as you well know, the largest population of Latinos in New York City, Dominicans, with the vast majority of them living right here in Washington Heights. As you mentioned today, Mayor Eric Adams, he traveled to Santo Domingo to let the people there know that he represents their loved ones here in the 5 boroughs, but he also mourns with them. A show of solidarity and support today from Mayor Eric Adams and Dominican-born DOT Commissioner Idanis Rodriguez. The pair kicked off a day-long schedule of events in the capital city of Santo Domingo to honor and remember the 220-plus victims killed in last week's collapse at the popular Jet Set nightclub. The collapse also injured nearly 200 people. The mayor started his day by meeting with Dominican Consul General Eligio Jaquez. He then spent time with the many first responders who jumped into action and kicked off a lengthy and taxing search and recovery effort. About 90 minutes ago, the mayor got a first-hand, up-close look at the site of a national tragedy that also impacts roughly 700,000 New Yorkers, who make up the largest Dominican population in the United States. Before returning home tonight, the mayor will attend a mass alongside family members of the many victims, faith and community leaders, and a widespread Caribbean population mourning a painful and devastating loss. Nearly a week after the tragedy, it is still unclear what caused the collapse.
In our city, there's a community called the Dominican community, the largest Dominican population outside of the Dominican Republic. They are not merely my residents. I've considered them my family. Over 200 members of my family lost their lives last week. And what family members do during time of mourning, they mourn with you. So I'm not here merely as the mayor. I'm here as a brother.
Now, among the many victims of the collapse on Tuesday, a retired NYPD detective. Later today, in the Dominican Republic, the mayor will meet with the detective's family. And right around the same time, at about 5:30 here in the Bronx, another vigil. That one scheduled by the Bronx Borough President and scheduled to attend New York Governor Kathy Hochul. Live in Washington Heights this noon, I'm Joe Torres, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Exclusive, a Bowie family is heartbroken tonight. They say their loved one died while on vacation in the Bahamas.
And they believe the circumstances surrounding the death are suspicious. Fox 5's Tisha Lewis joining us live from Bowie with new details. Tisha.
And the family called this Bowie neighborhood home. Let's talk about 23-year-old Denari McCalmont. We're told that he died 12 hours after landing in the Bahamas with his family. The family leaving this Bowie neighborhood on Friday, and we were told they were supposed to come back from Bahamas yesterday. Now they are telling us that Denari McCalmont is dead. Instead, the parents again remaining in Bahamas right now as they continue to search for answers.
Then they said there was an altercation, but he is okay. She and her husband left, went down to the resort, and searched all around. They could not find their son. At 2 o'clock, they came back and said there was an incident, and your son. She said, "What's wrong with my son?" The father said, "Y'all come to ask me all these questions." Then they said, "Your son died." Furthermore, they found that body.
Family members telling Fox 5 exclusively Denari McCalmont went to Bahamas with his mother and father. We're told the family was staying at a resort, and Denari left his parents during dinner to grab a coat and explore the resort. Family members say hours later, staff members came to the parents' room inquiring about Denari's whereabouts. We're also told his location sharing services went inactive. That's according to family members here. Denari's parents apparently searching the resort. Family members say when they did not find him, they made missing persons flyers. We're told resort staff returned to Denari's parents' room again to tell his parents he was dead. His family tells Fox 5 his face was unrecognizable and he appeared beaten to death, found on the resort's private beach.
all this time, they never showed my sister anybody or anything. So she's been there trying to make contact with lawyers, everybody, until she could get you.
Sounds so frustrating, Tisha, what they're going through. So what have we learned from law enforcement and the resort so far?
Well, Angie and Shamari, frustrating and devastating to say the least. Here's what we know so far. Bahamian law enforcement not classifying this as a murder. That's according to a local Bahama news station, Eyewitness News, saying this is not classified as a murder. And they also are reporting that an autopsy is underway. We did reach out to Bahamian authorities independently and also reached out to the resort, and we are awaiting their response.
Wow. I told you, y'all, there's a lot of things that's going on out there. It's very, people are becoming unalive. And that was a very unfortunate situation that happened to that young man. But you have to be very careful whatever country that you visit, because you never know what may happen, You never know what may happen, and you have to be safe. You have to be safe. And you know what? There's something else I want to talk to you guys about visiting foreign countries. Just make sure that you learn and that you read everything about that country that you're visiting. That's very, very, very important, because I've been getting other news about foreigners visiting countries. Let me put it like this. You can do something here that might be right, but when you go over there, it could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you guys heard, but I'm sorry for all this. I'm just giving you guys news information. I'm not fear-mongering or anything like that. But there were 4 tourists that was unalive in China because they were caught with drugs. This right here. And that's why I would tell you guys, always read everything. Always do your research before you visit a foreign country. There's 2 countries that you don't want to mess around with, and that is Singapore and China. Especially Singapore. Those Asian countries and those places over, you have to be very careful. Because something that you may think it may be very minuscule over here, but over there in Thailand and China and Malaysia and those countries over there, you can get the death penalty just for having marijuana. Like Singapore, a place like that, if you get caught with something, they will put you on capital punishment. This is one of the people from Canada. They did something stupid in China, and they unalived 4 people. So you have to be careful. You have to be extremely, extremely careful. And like I said, always do research on that country that you're going to. Try to learn as much language about that country that you're going to. Because I've heard this happening quite a bit. And one thing about a country like Singapore, they do not bend. Have a favor, can most of y'all hit that like button for me, okay, while you're here? Please hit that like button for me. I really would appreciate it. Yeah. Just a little minute. Okay, like for example, here in Michigan, marijuana is legal. They got dispensaries here. I think technically the federal government, I think it's still illegal. But they have these dispensaries here in Michigan, these stores that sell marijuana products. But you take that same product to a place like Singapore and China and get the death penalty for it. So most of you guys, you travel, we all travel, we go to different spots and stuff. make sure you learn the laws and the language and what the do's and do not when you go to a foreign country. Especially the Chinese, they do not play. They don't. There was a guy in Singapore. Let me tell you what happened to him. He bought less than an ounce. He was, he had a drug habit. He purchased less than an ounce of heroin. And this happened in Singapore. And they caught him, they arrested him, and they put him on death row. They ain't right with the school, like they don't play at all. And I've been hearing this has been happening. I've been hearing about this happening, quite a bit. People going to these foreign countries, and it's like look, Brittany Griner, for example. She's a good example. She had these little medicinal, these little capsules of marijuana. She was playing basketball over there in Russia. When Russia went through her bag and they found that, they arrested her. And they was going to give her 20 years in prison. The only way she got out of prison is that Joe Biden had to get her out. They had to do a prison swap to get her out. But if you get locked up in the prison, do you think they're gonna come for you? Do you think they are? Let me guess, he was arrested. Who you talking about, Marcus? I don't understand. Yeah, so please guys, just watch yourselves, that's all. And I still got plans going to Colombia in June. We're going to have some fun, okay? I'm going to take y'all with me. And you guys going to meet Barbie. But I got to tell you something that went down in Colombia, too. You got to be careful of. Now it's time to think twice about your travel. Travels with Tyrone, you may not know what he's been. That's why you're right. You're absolutely right, Simone. Like, that is a reason why. Yeah, he got arrested and he got executed. Capital punishment, yeah. He went to death. When they catch you with drugs in Singapore, it's an automatic death sentence. And they got the families got involved. The U.S. Embassy got involved. They got lawyers involved. And they still didn't let him go. Over something like over here that you were going to rehab for, maybe, or something. Okay? Something that you may not even do time in jail for. You may get probation. It all depends on how severe. But over there, just look at this guy right here. Can you imagine being in a Chinese prison and under their authority, and they tell you that you're going to be executed and there's nothing that your family or the embassy can do about it? So I'm not fear-mongering, guys. Please don't believe that I'm fear-mongering. I'm not. I'm just telling y'all, when you go to these foreign countries, always do your research and try to learn as much about the language that you possibly can. I don't trust nobody. I don't trust Barbie. I don't trust nobody. I don't trust Kathy. I don't trust nobody. Let me tell you something what I do. In Medellin, when I'm there, what I do, I put my bags in a very secluded place where nobody can mess with my stuff. I don't trust nobody. And I buy all my goods from the store. And I put it away. If I got company come over, I may put 2 cans of beer or whatever it is in the refrigerator. This is for you. This is for me. I don't trust nobody. And never, ever, let me tell you something else too. Don't do. While you traveling, when you're at the airport, never leave your bags alone. Always take your bags with you. And if somebody walks up to you and tell you, say, can you hold my bag? Don't do it. When I travel, I don't deal with nobody. I don't associate with nobody, because you could get in trouble just by wrong association. So I'm just saying, some of you guys, we go to Thailand, we go to these other countries and stuff, and we go to I know people are visiting Islamic countries like Dubai and all those places. Please make sure you read the rules before you go to these countries. Because Saudi Arabia, they have the death penalty in Saudi Arabia if you get caught with drugs over there. But why would you travel with people you don't know? Yeah, well, I'm just saying, let me tell you this. If I travel with somebody, there's only maybe one person that I probably would travel with that I know, and that's my sister. Anybody else I would not travel with. Matter of fact, there was a guy at the San Jose airport when I was in Colombia in Medellin. This guy walks up to me, like he known me for years. Walking up and say, hey, what's up, man? What's up? You Tony Rome, man. I heard about you, man. I heard about you. He said, what you doing? Where you going? Hey, let's share an Uber. I said, I ain't sharing nothing with you. I didn't tell him that, but I said, no, man, I'm good. I'm cool. It's like this dude just walked up to me like he know me. I don't know you. Who is you? Who the hell is you? You want me to get into an Uber, or you want me to get into a taxi with you? No, thank you. They could take you somewhere and try to kidnap you, have you robbed. And you do have criminals that go into that country committing crimes too. From other countries. Yeah, that's right. See, he must have intent to sell for it to be so harsh. Yeah, they don't play, man. The Chinese government don't play. And Singapore and Thailand too. Thailand has capital punishment too. The thing is, possession of weed is a crime. Yeah. If Singapore catch you with weed, they will give you the death penalty. Yes, they will. They do not play. They don't play. If they catch you with even with a minuscule amount, they will arrest you and give you the death penalty. And people has been caught up into that. That's why I'm telling you all this. I don't think many of y'all probably go to Singapore or anything like that, or China and places like that. But if you start going to certain these countries, read everything. Try to know the rules and everything you should know about that country before you go. This guy right here, 4 of his friends, this guy what you seeing right here, I got here, did something stupid. Him and 4 other people. This guy is from Canada. And the Canadian government they plead with the China government to let them go. Please don't execute them. China didn't listen. They don't listen. Look at this guy's face. Look at him. Look at him. He's getting ready to get put to death. And look at that. Look at the Chinese authority. Look at them. Do they look like they play with you? Do these guys look like they playing with you? Always, man, when you go to Colombia or the DR, please respect their laws. Now, this guy, the thing that happened with this guy in the Bahamas, They said that he got it. Excuse me. They say that he got into it with someone at a restaurant. That he actually spit at them at the restaurant. And that could be the reason why they unalived that guy. The one that was in the Bahamas. And being American travelers, we have to really be careful. Because there's an awful lot of people that don't like us. We are making enemies. Oh, gee, there's no way to live having your head constantly on a swivel, waiting for the next shoe to drop. How do you even know your job? No, what I'm saying is you can go and have a good time. But do your research and do your homework. Do your homework. If I ever, I tell you what, when I go to Thailand, I'm gonna learn as much Thai as I possibly can. I'm gonna hook up with Zoom to Thailand. What's the guy name for Zoom to Thailand? Oh my God, I can't remember. But he seems to know everything there is about Thailand. Richie Mack. Yeah, he does consultations. And I bet you he'll tell you everything you need to know about Thailand, what to do and what not to do. Because they do not play either. They will take you to jail. But you can go to, I know that there's a lot of, they're a little bit more lax about those type of laws, but those neighboring countries right next to it, it's totally the opposite. Like Malaysia and Indonesia and all those places, don't you bring no marijuana into those places. Yeah, I won't trust these overseas girls in relationships either. When you're there, they may be doing anything, plus you gotta know where you stand compared to them. Yeah, you have to be careful. I don't trust anybody, man. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust nobody, no matter how they look, no matter how pretty they are. No matter what they say, they say, oh, baby, oh, amor, I love you. Yeah, Richie Mack, yeah. They tell you that they love you and all that type of stuff, but they could be playing you at the same time. They could be playing you at the same time. I hide all my stuff, everything. I hide everything. Yeah, Richie Mack, that's what he's called, yeah. I learned that their country and cultures condones infidelity like Brazil. Yeah, they do. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, Marcus. So that's what, no, it don't faze me either, man. Nope. Because some of the most nicest women have scoped individuals, has been a victim of scopolamine. And most of those guys who got scoped said, oh, she was real nice. Oh, she was this. She didn't look like she would do this. You never trust anybody. You never trust anybody because you never know what they may do. I put everything away. I lock up everything. I have a locker. I keep a locker. I put my phone, I put my money, I put my passport, everything is locked away. No, I'm saying that you can't believe that you are the only dude that she's oh no, you're not the only dude. You're not the only dude that you're talking to. You are not the only dude that she is talking to. Nope. Because for number one, you don't even live there. How can you have a relationship with somebody that you don't even live in her country? She know that you're not going to be there. Those ain't nice people. They call acting on saving face or just being nice on the. Yeah, they're pretty nice on the surface, but when you get to know them for who they are, they will set you up. They will set you up. Matter of fact, I was watching, I don't know if you guys heard of him, but Obi-Land. There was a girl that was scoped. And they stole thousands of dollars out of her account. And she was crying. And she was stranded in Colombia. She was stranded. She was stranded in Colombia and she was crying. And Obi-Land had to help her out. I don't know if you guys heard of him, Obi-Land. He gives very good information about Colombia. And she was stranded there. She didn't know how she was going to get back home. He had to help her. It was a really good video. I should play a little clip of the video, but I'm not going to. But she was crying and she was upset and everything. She had met, this woman had met another guy. Yeah, Obi-Land is pretty good. Yeah, she had met a guy that was going to introduce her to two females. And they was going to get together and have, a little fun, you know what I'm saying? But it turned out that those two women that they met on Tinder end up playing them. That's the mistake everybody seems to make. They keep going to Tinder. They keep going to Tinder and they meet these people from Tinder and they end up getting themselves all messed up. Yeah, that was a sad video. Yeah, but it happens to women too. Girl, you want to do your homo stuff. You get put. Yeah, she got punished for it too. Let me see if I can play a clip of that. Y'all hold on for a second. I'm gonna pull that up. I want y'all to see that. 1 second. Give me 1 minute. I want y'all to see that clip how she got herself all messed up. Give me 1 second. Make sure y'all like and subscribe, please. Obi-Land, Colombia. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Just 1 second. 1 second. I'm going to find this video for you guys. I want y'all to see this girl. Let me see if I find it. Hold on. Just click on. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. This was a real good video. If you guys never subscribed to Obi-Land's, if y'all never subscribed to his video, please do so. He gives very good information about getting scoped in Colombia. Okay, I'm getting ready to bring him. Let y'all check this out. Here's another thing they do is they're trying to explore other options, and other hand that they are a safety net to her. Since foreigners got money, they get treated like ATMs. Yep, that's all they think you are is just an ATM machine. She wanted to get some panties, but ended up getting scoped. Yeah, check this out. I'm gonna bring her on. I'm gonna share the screen with y'all. I'm just gonna play a clip, okay?
It's normal.
And Jake had stayed on the couch, which, if we're talking, is not maybe about 15 steps in front of me, right? So that he was able to see what was going on, but he wasn't actually near us. Before I knew it, I was moved on to the bed, these 3 women, in front of me. And the last thing I remember was kind of like a hand on my head, and I got laid down per se, thinking paradise is and it's on its way.
Thinking they were about to start a wild fantasy, it wasn't long before Brenda and Jake lost consciousness, falling asleep.
Her friend is supposed to be
newborn babies.
named Jake.
And
I
as they
hooked her up
slept,
with
the
this.
girls stole their belongings, stripped them down naked, urinated on their floor, and planted adult paraphernalia to create a scene.
I will tell you, the next time that I remember anything was when Jake's friend ran into the apartment yelling our names. And I woke up and he woke up and we were naked. And that's when we found out that we were drugged and robbed.
And so, without wasting time, the girls began their communications with their criminal network in Medellin and Cali. And while Brenda slept, they gained access and pillaged her bank accounts.
We're disoriented. We really don't know what to do, how to do. We didn't expect this. How, when, why? And we called the cops. About 30 minutes later, 2 cops arrived to the apartment, and Jake fell again.
What's up, Jake?
They
Hey,
started
what's
asking
up,
questions
brother?
about what had happened the
My
night.
main man, what's happening?
I was giving them all the stories, all the details.
Yeah, everything was good.
Pensaron, ¿no? Cuando hay que a la madrugada, tipo 3.
Por ahí tipo sí, porque salimos a las 9. Sí. Llegaba una de la
Brenda narrates the story to the police. As they collate more information, Jake is still exhausted, still suffering from the effects of scopolamine, as Brenda gives the police more information. In footage we cannot use in this documentary, we see Brenda care for Jake.
comunicar la mamá es porque están tratando de sacar más dinero. A mí me trataron de sacar $2,000.
Yeah, so I just want to show you guys a clip of that. So basically what they did was her and her friend got drugged. Her and her friend got drugged by stupidity. I saw the Final Four and what a championship game and the semifinals. You know what? I missed that. You know what? I don't have the capability of watching sports anymore. It's just too expensive, man. I did have YouTube. I did catch the NFL playoffs and stuff. One thing I don't like about they make you buy this, you have to buy that, you have to buy this. So I just gave up on sports. I was watching it. But back in the older days, you used to be able to turn on the TV and watch regular TV and watch, all the championships, the playoffs and all that stuff. But it's like everybody just want money. They just want, especially when the Lions was in the playoffs. Every playoff game I had to see how they close this account and get the Paramount, and then get the Peacock, and then, I just say forget it. Wait, so I was one dude with this girl versus 2 other dudes. Wait, so it was one dude. It was one dude that introduced her to 2 girls that she wanted to have, some fun with, and the 2 girls end up drugging her and her male friend. He was an idiot, man. I would have dumped that. He was an imbecile. I don't know where she found him from. Get you in that much trouble like that. Uncle Toe Uncle Toe, you can't afford it. Come on now. Not no $80 freaking. I ain't paying no $80. That's how much I was charged. It's just too much. It's just too much. I'm not gonna pay no $80 just to watch a bunch of sports. I'm not gonna do it. See, I'm from the old school. You just turn on TV, CBS, NBC, ABC, watch all the sports you want. But they don't do it like that anymore, so. I might do it for the Pistons. I might do that. I did it for the Lions. But it just got very frustrating because I'm going from platform to platform to platform just to watch playoff games. You know, I would end this account, then I would start another one, then I would get the Peacock, then I would get the Paramount, then I get Amazon, then I had to get, I said, so how can I watch this? I had to, you know, they too money crazy, man. I think the sports and stuff is all rigged and they just too money crazy. Yeah, I can afford it, but I just simply refuse to do it. I saw that story. You have to be careful who you have fun with. Shaking my head. Yeah. Yep. And she was stranded. Yep. I've seen, you know what, man? I have seen stories of people have to call their relatives to come and get them. I mean, literally come to Medellin and come and get them. There was one individual, he got scopolamine, and I don't know what the authorities, what they did, but he was so out of it until his mother had to come and get him. Can you imagine your mom traveling all the way down to Colombia to come get you because you've been scoped? And the Colombians had to do it for him because he wasn't able to do it because that scopolamine messed up his mind so badly. That's why you don't trust nobody with your drink, man. I tell you, I go to the store and I get my own drinks. She sits over there, I sit over here. And not just only there, but you got to be careful everywhere you go. Because I told you about a story last week about me and my ex-girlfriend got drugged. To me, these girls have no jobs and they are living off stolen. They don't care. They don't care about you. They care nothing about you. You are absolutely zero. Zero. I don't know if he could have been, you know what? He could have been on the action. There's a possibility that he could have been on the action. That's what I'm saying. You can't trust nobody. Yeah, they're greedy. Once they took away UFC, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it opened digital boxes in the street, pay-per-view. Yeah, right. Hey, you have to pay for everything. When I was watching the playoffs, the NFL playoffs, especially when the Lions were in, the Lions were in the playoffs, I was going from platform to platform to platform to watch the playoff games. Like I would watch one on Peacock, maybe the first game, and then I go to Peacock to watch the second game. It's not there. You have to go to maybe Amazon. Then I'll sign up with Amazon. I would sign up with Amazon. Okay. And then you watch one game there. But all the rest of the games, they're not showing it. It's like I was jumping around, jumping to this, jumping, you know, it was just too much. I said, really? They really that greedy? I had a bit of fun there, but I would extremely be careful. No drinks around them, not even water. Yeah, okay, Smooth Life. I put the link in there. If any of you guys want to join the link, I'm going to put the link in, okay? All right, Smooth Life. Let me see. Let me put the link in the so we can all talk about things here. Y'all can join me for conversation. Okay, got it. Okay. Yeah, hey, I know your slogan. The story has slogans. Colombia is scary. Colombia is scary. That's another vacation horror story from YouTube, Mr. Nightmare. Yeah, it's a lot of, yeah. And guess what? I still haven't told you all the stuff that's going on either. Did y'all hear about what happened in Santa Marta with this guy? Yeah, jerky around it. Yeah, because they greedy. They real greedy. They're real greedy. Why can't I watch the whole playoff series on Amazon? Why can't I watch the whole playoff series on Netflix? Why can't I watch the whole playoff series on Paramount? Why do I have to keep jumping around to different platforms just to watch a complete playoff series? It's ridiculous. And even when I paid for the this real expensive platform, I ain't gonna tell you which one it was, but they were charging $75 to $80 a month to watch sports. And even they still didn't have all the sports on there, all the games on there. So I just say forget it. Yeah, sometimes I would go to the sports bar. Yeah, sometimes I would go to the sports bar. I used to do that years ago, but things have gotten so bad at the bars now, I don't even go to bars anymore. But did y'all hear about what happened to this guy in Santa Marta? This is a tourist. Well, I guess he's more like an expat. That he was living in Santa Marta, Colombia. And this individual got unalived. This guy, what you see here in this picture, he got unalived. And what they did to him is very scary. He was unalive and dismembered. Okay. And they took part of his dismemberment and they placed it in different locations in Santa Marta. So the story that I have heard is that he got unalive for mistaken identity. That's what happened. And matter of fact, he was from Italy. And they thought that he was somebody else, and that's what probably led to him being unalive. So like again, I say, man, you gotta be aware of your surroundings. They thought he was affiliated with something else. They think maybe one of the gangs thought he was someone else, and then they unalived him. Oh, okay, Smooth Life, he's here. Okay. All right, I'm about to bring Smooth Life in, y'all. Anybody else want to come in? Jay, you can come in too if you want to. What's up?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's happening? What's so you?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Hold on, man. I can't hear you, man.
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Yeah, come back in. Smooth Life, come on back in. Yeah. That's Buffalo Wild Wings. You know what? They closed all the Buffalo Wild Wings around here. I don't even know where one is at. Yeah, they got this guy right here. J.A., what's happening? Okay, bring you in. J.A., what's happening, bro?
Hey, what's happening? How's it going?
Hey, man, I'm just getting ready for Medellin again in June again, brother.
Oh, good. Good. Medellin or Medellin.
Yeah.
Nice.
We got Smooth Life coming in.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Smooth Life, can you hear me now?
Or Medellin.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Hey,
Smooth Life, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. How you do?
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you, but it's a little bit of a lag.
Yeah, I think I got to turn the volume down.
Yeah, Smooth Life, something going on with your equipment, man. Hello, Smooth Life.
Yeah. I think he's got to turn the volume down on his end for the TV.
Oh, wait a minute. Smooth Life, can you hear me now?
Yeah. I think he's got to turn the volume down on his end for the TV.
Yes,
oh, wait a minute. Smooth Life, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but I'm getting a lot of feedback, bro. Okay, what about now? You good?
Okay, I just took out my mic. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you much better.
All right. There's no echo now.
No echo now. Hey, you still there? Wait.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. I got you guys in there. Yeah, man. Oh my God, man. Y'all see this?
Okay, sorry. Now I think it's gonna work. I had another screen open. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you great, brother.
All right, I'm gonna try out my mic now because I have bought this new mic. I want to get you guys' opinions on it. Yeah, sorry, I had another screen open. Okay, what's up, guys?
What's up?
What's up?
Hello.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Smooth Life, what you doing, man? Smooth Life, you gonna have to come back.
Wow. Yeah, it's sometimes technical difficulties.
What's that, brother?
I said sometimes technical difficulties can get you.
Yeah, that's true. But man, oh man, there's a lot of stuff going on out here, brother. What is going on? Did you hear about the guy that he was taken to the prison and they're gonna leave him there?
The prison?
El Salvador, yeah.
Oh yeah, that one with the guy who was said that he wasn't supposed to be deported, but now they upheld it.
Yeah. And the Supreme Court said they wanted him to come home.
Yeah, they said they'd help facilitate, but it's under the El Salvadorian president now.
So you know what? Let me see. Smooth Life, I'm gonna give you another chance. Let me see. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know why, but I bought this nice mic, man, but I don't know, exactly what's going on. But I guess I'm just gonna use the computer for now because it doesn't want to work.
Okay. So yeah. So what happened? Yeah, they was gonna bring him back, and all of a sudden they decided not to.
Yeah. And Trump is saying that, they'd say they'd have to facilitate, but it's up to the discretion of the El Salvadorian president.
So what it sounds like to me. Wait a minute, hold on here. What's going on? Smooth Life, something's going on with your mic. Smooth Life, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm not talking. Give me 1 second. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm just making sure you hear me. So, it sounds like to me that El Salvador is a one-way trip. Because now they can't get him back. That's scary.
Yeah.
So he got arrested because they thought he was with MS-13, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But he wasn't with MS-13.
No.
He was working, and they grabbed him and they took him.
Yes.
Wow, man. Wow.
And now the media is trying to say, well, he did have some criminal stuff, but they're trying to put spin on it at this point.
Yeah. That's very scary. So they can just basically take you. But the thing is that there's no due process.
Yeah.
There's no judge or jury or nothing. So they can pretty much make up anything and take you away.
Yeah.
Wow, man, that is scary. Wow. I never heard of anything like that before. So once you are arrested and you go to that prison, you'll never come out of there again? I mean, you there for life?
I don't know, but the new guy, I forgot the pronunciation of his name, but I think it starts with N and it's B. I gotta look up his name. I know the face. He took over El Salvador. Before he was the president, that country, El Salvador, had MS-13 overly flood that country.
Yes.
Pretty much MS-13 formed on the West Coast in California, in LA. And
Right.
they took over and stuff. And when they committed crimes, some of them would escape and go back to the border and hide in El Salvador. And El Salvador, I mean, I think this gang started in the mid 80s, but once the civil wars ended between Nicaragua, Honduras, and El Salvador with the 14 families, because Reagan was trying to stop communism there with the rebels down there, and you had the Contras and stuff. That's another story. They pretty once those civil wars were over, that's when all the gang members would just come down there and they flood the country, and they literally took over the country, and the politicians there were very corrupt. And for some odd reason, this guy ended the corruption, the president there, and he clamped it down, and he turned it around, and they're claiming it's now pretty safe there to go to El Salvador. But El Salvador was really, really dangerous there.
Yeah, it was. I remember it being very dangerous.
Yeah, because they had civil wars in the 1980s.
Okay, right.
And it was all the unofficial, reaping of the resources there with the, United Fruit Company with Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, and Nicaragua with the Somoza family before the Sandinistas and then Daniel Ortega for they thought they were communists, and they switched it over to, they had free elections in the late 80s in Nicaragua, and it was Miss Chamorro. I'm going all over the place, but it's a lot of stuff that went down in that part of Central America.
Yeah,
and I remember the morning shows that would talk about the guerrilla warfares, and I was like 5 or 6 at the time, but when I was 5, 6, 7, when I was 7 or 8, I understood what was going on to a certain degree. But when I was 4 or 5, I was thinking that they were, they were actual. I thought it was I thought it was pretty much like cartoon characters, not allowing me to, take over, not allowing me to stay in the modern ages. I thought they were trying to make me go back to the Stone Ages when they said guerrilla warfare. I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm being careful how I'm saying it. But I also thought that, and I thought, oh my God, they even had a skit on You Can't Do That on television with people in those suits. So that's what I originally thought. But no, it was a very, very complicated war with El Salvador. Their rulership was the dictatorship, and it was the 14 families. And I learned this from a college class that I took years ago, and I forgot some of it. And they had one massacre there, which is called El Mazote, where they slaughtered a lot of citizens there in El Salvador. So it was really a bloodbath.
Yeah, it was
Before
really bad.
Yeah. Then this was before they actually everything ended and ceased. And once it ended and ceased, and the 14 families weren't the dictators anymore. That place was very poor and very vulnerable to the, all those gangs escaping and going back to El Salvador and then taking over the place.
Yeah.
And it was a street gang that really had big ranks there and were part of the corruption as well.
Okay.
Smooth life, baby.
Smooth life, you back?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So so now they turned this jail into a weapon now, basically now, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
So see, there's so much I can't say on this live or anything like that, but for what I found out today, it's real scary, man. It's very scary. It's very scary. It's like you could do something wrong, they can snatch you, and because he's talking about deporting American citizens there.
Yeah. Like possibly other gang members.
And people that's committing very outrageous crimes.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but deport them where?
To El Salvador prison, to that prison.
Oh.
He's talking about American citizens.
Oh,
that's what's getting real scary.
I'll have to look into that. I didn't hear that. Wow.
Yeah, for people that doing these outrageous crimes, like you mentioned about, there was someone that was unalive that was pushed in front of a train in New York in front of the subway, down there in the subway.
Jeez.
He mentioned people like that should go to that prison. Yeah. So he talking about people that's committing outrageous crimes should go to that El Salvador prison.
And then you are in the custody of the El Salvador government.
Right. But the thing about it, okay, I understand being tough on crime and things like that, but the part that I don't understand is that you don't get a trial. It's like your constitutional rights has just been, it's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, do I get a trial? Do I get a lawyer? Because here, when even the most worst criminals, they still get a trial. They still get a lawyer, whether they pay for one or either this court appointed, right?
Mm.
And you get a jury of your peers.
Yeah.
And you get a judge, you have the prosecutor, and you have the defense.
Mm.
But what he's doing is you don't get none of that. You don't get none of that. The guy that was deported, that's I can't imagine. I can't imagine what his family's going through.
Yeah, I'm curious about these tariffs though, against China, because this is the pivotal point. Because I feel like both sides really can't afford to back down. And if if China backs down first, right, and capitulates, says, you know what, we'll come to the table, just do tariff, and then I'll drop the tariffs, right? I think that, it's going to be just kind of like another day in the world. Big brother U.S. got its way, kind of did its thing. It's going to do damage, don't get me wrong, because they're trying to position themselves as a global power. But if the U.S. backs down first, I feel like that would do more damage to his reputation, because now it's like you just back down to China, the number 2 player in the world right now. You back down to China, they beat you in a tariff war. So that's why I think that neither side can afford to lose. I don't agree with Trump when I don't know why he would put tariffs all around the world as if the American economy and people can afford that right now. He should have done it in sections. He should have focused on China all on its own. That's just a whole different beast right there. And then I would have focused on another portion then I would have focused on another portion. I probably would have cut it in thirds. But he wanted to do everything, and he backtracked on that because he noticed that China wasn't backing down. So no, and it made him look a little bad. So I would have, if I would have done it, I would have focused in portions. Ain't no way in the world America can handle right now, us putting a tariff on all of our partners. That doesn't make any sense.
No.
You should have done it incrementally.
Mm-hmm.
And so now he's going back and forth with China, and he better not. Because if China wins this, this is truly like the beginning of the end, because this would be unimaginable 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago, when America was at its height, right? You would not imagine something like this to happen. So if this happens and China's able to really force Trump to get on the phone and force him to drop his tariffs and stuff like that, it's really a black eye on the American people. And I feel like that's what sent us over the cliff.
Let me tell you this. The American is on a decline. And China and the BRICS are on their way up. There's a new dynamic that's happening in the world right now.
Yep.
Did you know that the United States only makes up 4% of the population, right?
Yes.
4% of the population. China and the BRICS makes up 65%.
Wow.
Of the population. Okay. What Trump is actually doing is shooting himself in the foot.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen is these tariffs and this bullying that he's doing, they're going to decide, say, you know what, we don't need the U.S. anymore.
Yep, exactly.
I could do trade with India. I could do trade in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I could do trade in Dubai. I could do trade in other places. And let me show you guys a video of what the Chinese said about the tariffs. Now, the ambassador, this video I'm getting ready to show you, it really scared the heck out of me a little bit, because I have never seen China this defiant before. But what I hope that don't happen, but what usually happen, when there's a trade war and when there's an economic war, it usually leads to physical war. Okay? Listen to what this Chinese ambassador said. Smooth life again. Check this out.
Against what the United States will do, even at the cost of a total war between China and the United States in terms of tariff war or trade war or otherwise.
A trade war between two of the world's biggest economies seemed unthinkable a few months ago, but that's where we seem to be this morning. President Trump has threatened an extra 50% tariff, which, if imposed, could leave some US companies bringing in certain goods from China facing a 104% tax. Carrie Locke is the former US ambassador to China and told us earlier there are a few winners in a global trade war.
The other country is going to retaliate, as we've seen from China and Canada and many other countries. They're going to retaliate, which means that the price of American goods being sold in those countries will go up, which means fewer people and companies will buy those American products. And if there's lower sales of American products, that means you don't need as many workers. And that means higher unemployment. All around, people are going to lose.
That was Gary Locke, the former US ambassador to China. Well, let's get the view from China now with Victor Gao, who's the vice president of the Centre for China and Globalization. Good morning.
Good morning.
The biggest question for everybody this morning, given the escalation, is what will China do now?
I think the Chinese government has announced that it will launch a mirror image of the tariff against China. And this is very proportional, very measured. It is completely in retaliation against the wrongful sanction tariffs launched by the United States against China. Now, President Trump threatened to further increase 50% of tariff against China. And he demanded China to rescind the announced retaliation. I would say two things. One is that Chinese government will definitely retaliate again if the United States imposes additional 50% tariff against Chinese export, China will announce immediately 50% retaliatory tariff against the U.S. export to China. Now, the second point, which is equally, if not even more important, is that in this round of trade war initiated by the United States, not only against China, but against so many countries in the world, China will not blink first. China will not be the first country to blink vis-a-vis the United States. In China, we have no panic buying of things made in the United States, for example, whereas in the United States, people are panicking. They are buying things from the supermarkets, from the department stores, made in China, made in other countries. Therefore, I hope President Trump and his advisors, some of whom are really very much flawed in terms of character and decency, for example, should realize that tariff will not save the United States. Tariff war against other countries is the wrong thing. Of course, different countries will decide what they need to do in front of such maximum pressure from the United States, but China's view is very clear. Stand up firm and do a tit-for-tat retaliation against the United States. And I hope by the end of the day, President Trump will realize how wrong he has been in using such maximum pressure against China.
And if Donald Trump doesn't realise, as you say, that he's wrong, and he doesn't go back on his tariff decisions, which all indications are at the moment that he won't, is there any way to avoid a global recession as a result?
No, I think from the Chinese perspective, we'll never go to Washington and beg for something. China's position will be very clearly defined. Do whatever the United States is doing to China, and we retaliate against what the United States will do, even at the cost of a total war between China and the United States in terms of tariff war or trade war or otherwise. This is the firm decision of China. China will never cry uncle or go to Washington with its hat in its hand and beg for something. This is not the way China is doing. China is defending its fundamental interest in the right way, and the people in China support it. And I think eventually it will never be China who will blink first. Remember what I say, and let's wait for another day or another week or less than 4 years to come and to see what will happen.
And you're saying that China can sustain through that amount of time. I'm interested there. You said no matter what happens, an economic war, a trade war, or anything else. What do you mean when you refer to any other kind of war? What do you mean by that?
Because the wars launched by the United States against China are already multiple wars. You are talking about the tariff war, the trade war, the technology war, the talent war, the energy war, and the threatened military war of different kinds, including proxy war, etc. I think China is fully prepared to deal with the United States as it is, as friend if they want to be, as a foe if they want to be, in any way, peace or otherwise. And I think this is the message China wants to give to Washington. Why? Because in matters of such importance to global peace and stability.
But can we be very clear here? Can we be very clear here? Are we talking, Victor Gao, about Taiwan?
Well, Taiwan is part of China. Every government in the world recognize that. No one should be diverted by the issue of Taiwan. Taiwan's reunification is the mega threat. It will happen during the lifetime of most of us watching your show.
Victor Gao, the Vice President of the Centre for China and Globalisation. Many thanks for your time on the programme.
I told you, China's very defiant.
Yeah, they are. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely defiant. It's hard to really tell about who's really going to win this war because you have a lot of people on both, well, starting with China, it's because it's just such a, of course, they're a very proud nation. And so, of course, this guy is obviously pro-China, which I expect him not to be anything else. So, of course, he's not going to say anything negative about his country and say, oh, we're shaking, we're scared. I don't expect him to say that, and vice versa with America. Trump was a very polarizing president. And so, the media, for the most part, the majority of the media outlets are against him. So he has to work against that, against him. And But with that being said, I like to take like an unbiased approach and really say that I'm not sure who's going to win this tariff war. I really don't know. I think it could go either way. I'm just kind of here with my popcorn and just looking at it. Because again, like I said, I don't think there's strong evidence on either side to really say who's definitely going to win this. Because you just a lot of different factors at play here.
What do you think about that, 8? Do you think there's going to be a winner in this tariff war?
I mean, it's this looks like this could now backfire. I mean, he should. I mean, like Mr. Smooth was saying, they should have. If he was going to do tariffs, he should have done it in certain spots and not just tariff the whole world and then really go extra hard on everybody on China all at once. That's ultra bullying. In fact, if the other candidate had won the presidency, they were still going to use the bullying method. And at this point, I listened to other shows and on YouTube and some political pundits, and they were saying that the U.S. really does not have like the money like that to be that imperialist bully anymore because of money and all the other stuff. They don't have
it. That's why they're doing this. That's why they going after Greenland. That's why they fighting everybody, pushing their allies, aside, turning on each other.
It just don't make no sense. If I was Trump, I would have focused on Latin America first. I would have focused there. I would have done it incrementally because, see, those third world countries can't afford to lose as much. I would have focused on it incrementally, but you tariffing the whole world and then you backtracking and saying, oh, now you're trying to focus on China. It's like you're losing face. You shouldn't have done that. You should have just focused, you should have divvied it up from section to section. And I get that would have been a smarter plan. We cannot afford for us to tariff the whole or tariff all of our partners at once. That'll make no sense.
Well, that's why I looked at Jill Stein. She had we got to try and at least work with BRICS a little bit better and stuff, instead of trying to bully, because we don't have the means to really bully like that anymore as America. We can't do it anymore.
Well, because what I like Professor Wolf. One of these days, I'm gonna try to have him come on my podcast. But what Professor Wolf was saying is that
yes, Wolf, that's the guy I listen to.
Professor Wolf. He's an economist, and he said that China and the BRICS and Russia and all of them are going up, and we are kind of coming down. He said what we should be trying to do is trying to say, okay, these are upcoming countries economically. We should be more trying to work with them than fighting them. What I'm
exactly
saying? So that's what we're doing. We're fighting them. It's like America sometimes come off as being the big kid or the big bully on the playground.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You do what I say or you're gonna get this, they're sanctioning any country that buy oil from Venezuela, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or they will sanction your visas and things. It's like they always got this whip, you do what we tell you to do. If you don't do what we tell you to do, then we're gonna suffer. What that is actually doing is pushing other countries to the BRICS.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're pushing them to China. But China's not worried about it because China's already positioned itself, geopolitically anyway. They're not worried about no recession or anything like that. They ain't worried. They ain't worried.
I ain't worried about that.
They ain't worried. But
I tell you one thing though, Trump better hope it doesn't backfire. Trump better hope he can pull this win off, because there has, between China and the United States, there has never been a front like this so far in this history, right? Not a straight up tariff war, right? There's never been one yet, where it's just you versus me. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna chicken out first? There hasn't been one, right? So if whatever country loses this tariff war, it's gonna really set them back. And
we will lose the tariff war. I know that we would, because for number one,
Yeah.
let me ask you a question. Who's the biggest holder of U.S. debt? Who is it?
Us.
Huh?
Oh, damn. China. How's it?
China.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So China tomorrow can say, you know what? We're going to dump all your U.S. treasuries. We don't want them anymore. Boom. And then you're talking about the stock market. You're talking about, an economic typhoon. It would really be bad, damn. But China's already positioned itself. They don't care. He said it. The guy just said it.
Well, I mean, what is he supposed to say? Again, like I said, you could. I'm not. Again, I don't want to come out like I'm pro-America, America. No, I'm definitely not that. All I'm trying to say is that none of us sitting on the panel here are economists. None of us are in politics. None of us truly know what goes on behind the scenes. At the end of the day, we can only get so much information on what we think, right? So,
but you know what? I've been
not over to the fat lady sings.
But can I tell you this?
Yeah.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I've been following this for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I wrote a book. I got a book on this on Amazon. That I published in 2005. I saw this coming. And for what it sounds like is that we are headed in the wrong direction.
Khalil, why do I have to be pro-America when pro-America has never been pro-black person, so-called black person? Just answer that question. Why do I have to be pro-America when pro-America has never been pro-black person?
Oh God, this guy.
I want to answer for that. I really do want to answer for that.
Go answer, man. Who the heck?
Please. Because they always talk about you got to be patriotic, you got to do this, you got to do that.
Okay, fall in the lake of fire. But that's a response to that dude, not you. For that dude.
Well, I'm just saying, like this, if America does fall, good. It's been a bully for a while.
Yeah.
Now I'm being unbiased. I'm taking more of an unbiased stance. Like I really don't know who's going to win from an unbiased standpoint, from a personal standpoint. If America loses, it loses. It's been doing people wrong for decades, man. Not just so-called blacks. Look at how they've been bullying people around the world, man.
Well, I was describing earlier about Central America and what the U.S. did with the United Fruit Company. They did that there. That's part of it.
Yeah, I understand that, but what I'm trying to say is that I don't care about their problems. I care about my so-called black brother's problems.
No. I thought you were trying to say he doesn't know anything. I thought you were going after him. I'm sorry.
I am coming after him.
Okay.
Yeah, Khalil. Sorry, I didn't hear what were you saying, bro?
No. What I was saying was I thought you were going after him, and I was just trying to add your point about how America's harmed the world. That's all I was trying to add.
America's what in the world?
Harmed the world and bullied the world.
Yes,
that's all I was trying to do. And I just tried to talk about Central America.
I won't, because I gotta be very careful how I phrase this, because I can, but there's certain people in certain groups with small hats that really, not even the real people of the Bible, but just doing certain things that part of America, and America's been backing them, right? So, no. If we get, it's about time we get punched in our teeth. It's about time we get punched in our teeth, bro.
Yeah.
So.
But you know what though? I see a revival. I mean, have you guys heard of Abraham Traore in Burkina Faso?
Yeah.
Burkina Faso, that young brother that took over, Abraham Traore. I mean, he is turning that country upside down.
What country?
Burkina Faso is a West African country.
What's the name of the country?
Burkina Faso.
Burkina Faso. Okay.
And the president there, the new guy, his name is Abraham Traore. That's his name.
Yeah.
And man, they are crazy about this guy. I have never seen nobody like it. And what he's trying to do is unite Africa. Africa is starting to wake up a little bit now.
That'll never happen. But yes, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to go ahead. I'll respond to after you get finished.
I think, you know what? I think I think Africa is waking up because a lot of African countries are joining him, saying that we're no longer going to be allow ourselves to be a bully of the West. We're going to capitalize on our own resource, just like Burkina Faso. They kicked the French out. They say, French, we don't want you here anymore. They kicked them out. So they're growing. They have their own food. They have their own. They're the ones that are buying all these electric vehicles from China.
I'm trying to look up how you spell the country name.
Burkina Faso.
Okay. I think it's Faso, but okay.
Oh, they say get you. This somebody told me to get you off the.
Yeah, okay, but see, hey, Tony, this guy wants me to get off because I'm spitting facts in his ear. I'm kicking that flavor in his ear. Listen, are you a foundational Black American? Let me ask you that question first. Now you said, yes, Black Americans have problems in America, but it ain't the same problems you have in your third world country. That's why I guess you're trying to say you fled it. I would never hate the country that my ancestors built. But Khalil, this isn't your country. They use your ancestors' blood, sweat, and tears to build it and give you no benefits.
Yep.
Not
there you go.
That's what you're not getting. This is not your country. They use you for cheap, free labor. That's what they did. They use you like a hoe. Excuse my language.
Well, let's okay.
Let's do this. Another hateful dude.
Hold on. Smooth like. Let's keep this conversation between me and you. Let's don't get too too far because we're on YouTube. Okay. You don't want to get demonetized. But I do understand what you. I'm just saying that we just need. My reason for doing this is that we need to get prepared. We travel to different countries and things, and the reason why I do these live is that I want us to be financially, ready for whatever's coming at us. You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying, right? Right.
Yeah, and can I say one more thing, Tony? By the way, bro, I'm born in California. I'm born in America. I'm not an immigrant. I just want to let that be known too.
Same here.
Okay.
I was born in New York, not an immigrant either.
Get these immigrants off your. No, that's okay. We can't be having that now. I want to y'all gonna get me in trouble with YouTube now. I just want to keep it like we can talk about we can talk about this stuff on Instagram, between us personally on Instagram, but don't talk about this stuff too much on YouTube. So I want to get in trouble. But I'm just saying that there's a lot going on out here, and we have to be prayerful, man. Be prayerful, brothers, when we go to these different countries. Okay.
Yeah, no, for sure. What's his face? An influencer. He just went to iShowSpeed. He just went to China. And he was just like really like, I guess you can say building relations, because he was having all these Chinese folks threatening him and trying to take pictures with him and get on his live stream. But with this tariff war, it just kind of set us back with relations with him for a while. So yeah, I think this is. I don't know when WW3 is going to really kick off, but I don't know if it's going to be between the United States and China, or it's going to be in the Middle East, or wherever it's going to be at, or Russia. But I just know that, it just seems like every single day we're like inching closer and closer and closer.
Well, me personally, I'm just giving you my thoughts that I also studied Bible prophecy too, and I believe what you're seeing is, it's already have been prophesied. It talks about in the book of Daniel, it talks about the three kingdoms that's going to come in, the four kingdoms that's going to come into power. It talks about that. And me personally, I can't prove it. I can't prove it. I'm not saying this 100%, but I think in Revelation 17 and 18, it talks about the dragon, and I think they were talking about China. There's going to be certain countries that's going to be, but America is not mentioned. So, I'm not downfalling America or anything like that, but Only thing I'm saying, I love America. I do. I love this country. This is a beautiful country. But I think that we just headed in the wrong direction. And I think there's still time for us to turn everything around.
There's no time left, Tony.
I'm just saying, as far as my belief.
Oh.
I never say never.
Well, yeah.
Like with the travel with the China recently.
I just think, I just want to, can I say something for a second? I just wanted to say that right now, with Trump being in office, he's trying to stop the Ukrainian-Russian war. Now, if the other person was elected, we still would have been funding that war, and we would have been more rapidly going to World War III real quick with Russia.
I agree with you. I believe
this just delays the inevitable, and you just have an implosion from within.
Right.
That gets you some time.
Right. I think we're gonna still get there, but I think Trump is gonna get us the rate that he's going. He's gonna get us there much more faster. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Oh, Trump?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Tony, I'm not like going back and forth with him anymore. I'm just reading what he's saying. I am Black American. Why would I want my country to fail so my country could be like your country?
Oh boy.
I think he missed the part when I told the brother that I'm from California, but
yeah, but that's what I think that we're headed right now, because I never seen the Chinese this angry before. I never did. I mean, because they're really clashing, especially with the Panama Canal, because China was building a lot of infrastructure around the Panama Canal, and they basically almost like kind of took over it in a way. Not really like take it over, but they were doing a lot of trade there, and and America got mad and said, "No, we're gonna take the Panama Canal back." So let's say, this is my country. I created our own culture in this country, and we built this country.
This is my country.
We've been in America for hundreds of years. Okay.
But Khalil, we get what you're saying, Khalil, but I don't think you understand what we're saying. America is first of all, that's a continent, right? Like we're talking about North American continent. I'm talking about the United States. I'm not talking about us being here. I'm talking about the United States itself as a country. That is what needs to get punched in its mouth. That's what I'm trying to say. And I don't know what you mean by this third world country, because I'm not from a third world country. But yes, if you want to stay here, my brother, be my guest. I'm just letting you know this country's failing. I know it. You know it. It's just a matter of time. We're no longer in a business upward trajectory. This business is a downward trajectory. We were at our peaks around the 50s, 60s, 70s, and ever since we got off the gold standard, it's been slowly trickling down. That's why, if you don't understand the gold standard and how it works, what a quick little economic lesson for y'all. The gold standard, when America was on the gold standard, it prevented or very much helped the U.S. dollar from inflating. Does that make sense? Because it was backed by it. But the reason why things have become more and more and more hard, for example, your dollar is not getting as far as what it used to, is because it's off of the gold standard. So it's going trickling down little bit by 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 little bit, and that's why it'll never get back to where things are being cheap anymore, right? So that's what I'm trying to get you guys to understand, is that it's not on its way up. The growth has already happened.
Yep.
They don't get it, Tony. They don't. These guys don't. Khalil backyard. He's a proud American. So you're gonna fight for this country. I'm gonna fight for him. Never will like you, by the way.
I think he's listened to too many other podcasters. I'll just leave it at that.
yo, so like this gonna be SmackDown. I want to turn my channel to a SmackDown.
No, let's go. I'm respecting you. I'm respecting you and your platform, but I already kind of hit him with that. You can't respond to it. You're just trying to make insults at this point.
Yeah. But I don't get. But like I said, my platform is built on traveling. You know, so I give y'all geopolitical information.
I got hate for this country
because our goal is to live abroad.
Yes,
Your
sir.
goal is to live abroad. My goal is to live abroad.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, your
I
goal
want
is
to
to
live
live
abroad
abroad.
too.
So
Eventually, yeah.
the thing that got me actually worried about any trade war, anything like that. That I remember, may he rest in peace. God, what's the guy name? Man, my memory's not that good anymore. What's going on? The guy that used to come on Facebook all the time. About the black man's option.
Charles Tyler.
Charles Tyler. Yeah.
God rest his soul.
Yeah. He used, the one thing he used to say is that in order to live abroad, we have to have a strong U.S. dollar, and we enjoy the benefits of a strong U.S. dollar.
We do.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the part that reason why I bring you guys geopolitical information and economics is that if I ever bring the professor on my show, Professor Wolf, one of the things I would ask them, I said, how long will we be able to enjoy the benefits of the dollar? Like right now, $1 is equivalent to 3,000 pesos in Colombia. And what is the baht in Thailand? I know the dollar is worth a lot in Thailand too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can live very good, live very cheap, and live a very good life, get good medical benefits and everything in Thailand or in Colombia or some of these other countries. But how long would that benefit last? You know, would there come a time when would $1 be equal to 1 peso?
Last forever.
That would be terrible, wouldn't it?
Oh man, this is why I want to get dual citizenship.
That means I won't be able. That means I won't be able to bring Barbie back.
Oh man. Oh man.
That would be broke.
Yeah, but this is why you gotta try to. I'm trying to make my plans now.
I'm just messing with y'all.
This is why I'm trying to make my plans now, OG, because I'm trying to go out and I'm trying to, make my channel. And eventually, hopefully, the plan will be to get dual citizenship, right? So that's what I'm trying.
I heard that Trump is trying to stop dual citizenship. If you're gonna do it, you better do it as soon as possible. I heard he's trying to stop. No, for real. Trump is trying to stop dual citizenship. He's gonna stop all that. He's gonna stop it. So whatever it is you better do it quickly.
Yeah, I don't know, and I have heard a few conservatives say that, but I don't think Trump has said that himself about ending those.
Yes, he has said that. Yes.
Can you send me a link?
Yes, if I find a link, I would definitely send it to you about dual citizenship. He wants Americans to be Americans, And
now there has been people in the media saying what a second term means for dual citizenship under Trump, but he himself, I have not heard that.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, he's got JD Vance.
Yes.
Please send that to me.
If he can't get a third term, he'll pull on JD Vance.
No, I mean he's not going to get a third term. I mean, they only have 2 terms as president.
Yeah.
I think, can I tell you personally? Me personally, I think he's going to try some way to do something, because the stuff that I'm starting to see now is going beyond the Constitution a little bit, especially with this thing with El Salvador. So you could take American citizens and send them to a foreign prison without due process. That's authoritarian to me. That doesn't sound like America to me. That's what I find. So if a person is able to do something like that, there's no telling what else he might be able to do. I don't know. But I think he's gonna find some way to be in that third term. He's gonna find some way.
Well, let's look at this. You remember Mike Bloomberg?
I'm sorry?
You remember Mike Bloomberg, the former mayor of New York City?
Yes.
Well,
sir.
He had 2 terms as the mayor, but he snuck in a third term. And then once he had that third term, he they took a section and adjusted the Constitution of New York City where a mayor can get an extra term. He did it just for him. And then after he was done, he said he didn't want to be the mayor anymore, and they switched the Constitution back. That's pretty slick.
They switch it back. Yeah, they sure can.
What makes you think he's not going to do it, Trump?
He's going to
try it.
Steve, his right hand man.
He's got JD Vance.
Hey, Khalil, you still there? Yeah, no, I think JD Vance did say about ending dual citizenship. Now, JD Vance, yes. But Trump, no. I haven't heard him say that. But yeah, I have heard, I believe, JD Vance say that before.
Mm-hmm.
Which is still not good. You know, if he's talking about ending dual citizenship, I mean, he still has pull 2 now. So if he tries to end my damn dual citizenship, now I'm throwing Trump under the bus, because that's directly affecting me trying to be a dual citizen.
Yeah, he is going to affect you. He's going to do it. I'm telling you, he's going.
We're going to see.
He's only been in office not even 4 months, and look what he has already done. We still got 3.5 years of this. So what are things going to look like when we go to the other side? Is the big question. You know what I'm saying? So, me personally, there's some things I want to say, but I can't say it on this live.
Yeah.
You know, I have to be careful what I say on this live, but the picture don't look very good. And I'm trying to, you know, I want to see Barbie. I want to see my friends in Colombia so bad. I miss them so much. He keeps laughing.
Barbie.
In scary Colombia.
Scary Colombia. But let me tell you something. The part of Colombia, the part of Colombia that I be in is paradise. Okay?
Oh.
I create paradise in Colombia because I'm gonna tell you something. Those people there, I'm gonna be honest with you. My experience in Colombia, I've been going to Colombia for a while. My experience with them, they are some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life, and they always take care of me when I'm there. Always. You know, the other day I was at the hotel and I was getting ready to go do some content in Provenza. I had my camera in my hand. I was ready to go. I had my bag. They stopped me. They said, "No, don't go. Don't go. Stay here." I said, "What's up? What's going on?" They said that the police they was doing mass arrest.
Ooh.
They said they was doing mass arrest. It was like just randomly just grabbing people, you know, off the street and stuff. They say they may accidentally grab you too, so it'd be better for you just to stay inside. Stay here, stay inside. We got everything here you need. I said, "Yes, sir." I said, "Yes, sir." But one thing you do, if you respect them, they're gonna always respect. If you love their people and respect their people, respect their culture, they're gonna respect you. They have gave me nice things. Like I gave my sister. It was like this really nice, just like what is this called? Like a cover, like a quilt that they made for me, and they gave it to me. It was beautiful. And then when I got back to the States, I gave it to my sister for her birthday. You know. So they are very good people, man. I really miss that wholesome fun. You know. Yep.
I'm trying to find some things on it. It looks like the dual citizenship thing. It looks like JD Vance, Trump haven't said anything about dual citizenship. They both have talked about birthright citizenship, ending that, just being born in America is not enough, right? Now they talked about that. Also, it looks like JD Vance has specifically said that he's trying to end dual citizenship for immigrants. So, for example, if I'm born in Haiti and I try to come to the United States, it's one or the other. Either I'm going to become an American citizen or I'm continue to be a Haitian. So not necessarily as an American citizen getting another citizenship somewhere else.
Well, let me tell you this. Again, whatever you all do it quickly. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing things change, but that thing about El Salvador, that is scary. That freaks me out. I mean, you know, if they just can grab you and take you and throw you into a foreign prison without due process. I never heard of anything like that before. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just kind of curious, if you end up in a prison like that in El Salvador, how long do they keep you there? Are you there for life? Are you never going to see the light of day again? Because I heard that prison is cut off from the outside. They don't even allow the inmates to go outside. You kept inside. That's horrible. You know what that remind me of? How many Star Trek fans do we have here?
I'm not a big Star Trek fan.
You're not a big Star Trek fan.
I've seen the shows, but I never really got too far into it. I've seen parts of the old Star Trek shows, and then I saw a little bit of the Next Generation, but I would see one episode every now and then. That's pretty much it.
Oh, okay. Well, the Klingons have a penal colony called Rua Pente.
Oh.
Okay. I don't know if you heard of the Klingons before, but they was the Federation. I mean, if you into Star Trek, the Klingons used to be the Federation's worst enemy. But there was an episode when Captain Kirk and was it Spock? No, not Spock. It was Captain Kirk and McCoy was sentenced to a Klingon prison called Rua Pente. That's supposed to be the worst of the worst place to ever be. And nobody's never escaped there. That's what this prison sounds like in El Salvador is. That's what it sounds like a penal colony.
Hey, Tony, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a good question, you know, a little fun question for everybody who's watching and on the panel. What's one major country you know about, but you're not trying to go to? Like you have no interest. Say I have no interest in going into this country.
The Middle East.
Well, that's not a country, but I have no interest in going there either. But there's maybe one or two countries I would go to. Is there any specific country that you wouldn't go to?
It would, but I wouldn't want to say it on this live though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like one country that I have it's a big country I have no interest at all is India.
Why?
Because a lot of no disrespect to any Indians, but a lot of there's a lot of trash around there. Of course, it's overpopulated in a small area, so you have a lot of overpopulations in the cities. As it can be, I don't want to say dirty, but it just has a lot of trash everywhere.
Yeah.
I heard that not all, but like a lot of them can be racist.
Yeah, they can be.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know about that, but that can be very racist. It just has no appeal to me. I'm not really a big fan of the food like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Well, the only thing that I only find appealing, I do like the food, like some of the curry chicken and some of the stuff, but that's it. I mean,
the curry chicken's okay. That's pretty good. But other than that, I haven't really had anything. Like the rice is okay with the raisins.
Yeah, I like the rice.
That's okay, but I say chicken's pretty good. But other than that, it's not like a great cuisine. I mean, maybe I to have more, and maybe I would eat more. But from what I've tasted, it wasn't all that. But that's.
I'm gonna tell you the reason why I wouldn't go over there.
Yeah,
I think it's a beautiful country, but they got some very dangerous wild animals roaming around in India. Dangerous animals.
I didn't realize.
Tigers and stuff. Yeah, that's true. What about you? What's the guy's name over here?
I call myself Jake White. What country do I not want to go to?
That's a big country. So obviously, you're not gonna want to freaking go to Beirut or some random Middle Eastern country, right? But a big country that's pretty sizable, but you have no interest in going to.
Man, I mean, I'm on the fence of India and maybe China.
China, I would go to China for sure. I would try
I go
China.
To Hong Kong. I go to Hong Kong, but I've heard not so great stuff about us and how they treat us in China.
Oh, and plus the women in India don't do it for me either.
Yeah, I stick to places that I know that I can come back home safely. You know what I'm saying? But Flight, what's the name of that guy I introduced you guys to? He's in China right now. He says he said the people there are really nice. He's been there for like 11 years.
Oh.
Yeah, China gets a bad rap a little bit.
What's that guy's name? He wears that hat.
Danny Flight?
Oh, Danny Flight?
The Flight Madness.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's matter of fact, he got into a fight with somebody in China on the other day.
Yeah,
I don't know if that was real or fake though. I'm like, is that
Everybody
real?
was saying that was that fake. I don't think it was fake. He don't come across as being a liar.
Like if it was real, he got his butt whooped.
I don't know.
Did you see his black guy and busted lip? I mean,
Well, somebody could get a good punch at you, I mean, you never know what may
he's
happen.
not a small dude. I think he's about between 6 foot and 6'2". And
Shoot, they can hit you. They can hit you, without you even knowing it.
But I should have seen the video of the guy was like a small little guy. Like it was a little, So if he got his butt whooped, I have to just kind of.
No, he didn't get his butt whooped. But you know what though? Even in China, you have to be careful with that too.
Yeah.
Because you can go to jail for a long time for that. Did you know that?
Yeah, fighting. That's the last thing I want to do in a foreign country is fight.
Yeah, you don't want to fight in China. Matter of fact, there was a football player that went to China, and got into a fight with somebody, and they tried to give him 25 years.
Wow. Who?
There was a football player years ago that was teaching football to the Chinese, and he got into it with somebody, and they arrested him and tried to give him like 20 years.
Yeah, because that's the thing about fighting in foreign countries. Like you're not in America.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why I was talking about the first part of this live. I said, be careful where you go. I said, be careful where you go. Always respect the culture and the laws. Because there was another guy. Let me tell you what he did. He was in North Korea. They were visiting North Korea. You know what he did? Yeah. There was a poster on the wall.
Yeah.
He took it. He took it, and he was going to try to leave. He was going to try to leave with it, and they stopped him at the airport. The North Korean authority, and they arrested him. And I don't know what happened to him, but when they got him back to the States, he was all messed up.
Yeah, they done tortured him.
And did he later die?
He later died. Yep, sure did.
Yeah, they send you to hard labor. Labor.
That story. But I think Tony, I think fighting in general is just. I think that's just like just one of the while traveling, it's just like one of like the dumb moments, right? It's one of the sins you do not break, right? Because it's like you being in a foreign country. If the police, okay, first of all, you fight somebody, right, in a foreign country. Let's just say that and it could have been avoided. Because you want to be this tough macho man that's not going to back down, and you toughest guy around the block, right? Mm-hmm. But hear me out. If you fight in a foreign country, first of all, it's your word versus their word. So they can say anything. They can say that you were a big bully, you pushed them around, you did this to that. And you may or may not speak the language. That's number one. Number two, if the police, like I said, the police get involved, you could be going to jail. And then you can use your rights to visiting that country. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of times foreigners get jumped too. So and then you take that chance, you don't know if you can whoop that man. That man might be able to whoop you. So there's all these different things that you take into account that fighting should be the last falsely accused. That's right, Marcus. So fighting should be the absolute last resort that you should go to. They have to put their hands and attack you first, because there's it's just too much risk. Go ahead, Tony.
And plus they're nationalists too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Huh?
And plus they're nationalists too.
Yeah, they're gonna battle for their people.
Yeah. Well, look what happened to this guy in Colombia. You know what I'm saying? Look at him.
You remember that story back in the day?
They unalived him and dismembered him in Colombia.
Do you remember, Tony, back in the day with it was this guy, young guy, I think he was around college age. I don't know if he was a college football player or something, but whatever. He went to Greece. I think it was Greece. And
yes.
Then he was in a nightclub, and then I think that I don't know if he was talking to. I forget the details. If he was talking to a girl or something.
He was talking to a girl. Yeah.
A girl. Yeah. And then the guy got jealous, and they all jumped him and killed him.
Yeah, it was. He went to University of Arizona. I think he did some design work and stuff. His name was Bakari Henderson.
Sure did.
Yeah.
And at first some people said he was talking to a girl, but then they said, oh, they dropped drinks on the Serbians' table, and then they just decided to go. They bumped him, and then when they all wanted to jump the guys, they decided to come after him once he fled outside the club, and that's when they bum rushed and killed him.
So it wasn't.
But even if he didn't talk to the girl, and it's just you dropped the drinks and you didn't know that anyone was there, and they're still jumping, that's still bad, man.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. Just I think on the tape, I think there was video. I think he was seen talking to a girl. I think.
Right.
That's why, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. I know some people do this, but that's why I never go out to clubs when I go to Colombia. Never. I've never been to Club Gusto. I've never been to none of those places. Never. I bring all the activity to me at the resort. I do. But I just heard so many stories about things happening to foreigners at those clubs. I don't go to clubs.
You mean the local clubs or the tourist clubs?
I'm talking about either the local club. Now, I do go to different restaurants. I will go to a different restaurant. You know, like I went to a restaurant, they have good burgers in Poblado. And then I went to Lorella's to a restaurant. I do go to restaurants, but far as like the nightlife, you know, going to clubs and strip clubs and all that stuff, I stay away from those places. Because I just heard, matter of fact, my girlfriends in Colombia, they always tell me to beware of those type of places. Matter of fact, they try to convince me not to go out at night. They say night is the worst time to go out.
It is.
Yep, they tell me not to go out at night. They always tell me to stay at home. So that's why I go to the store. I bring my wine. I bring my water, you know, whatever they drink. We can sit out on the patio. We have a good time just like that. Just like that. And then they got a bar. They got a bar at the resort too. You know what I'm saying? They'll come out and say, can we get you something to drink? Everything is right there at my fingertips. And then from there,
Hey, Tony, what's your let me ask you a question. What's your I want to put this. Like, how's your love life in America going? How's it everything with that going?
Horrible. I told you in the last live, I haven't been out on a date in 2 years. Yep, it's funny too.
Why do you think that is?
It's different now. It's not the same. It's not. Dating in America, like Austin Hollis just said.
Yeah.
It's just something is wrong here.
Yeah,
I'm not saying they're all bad or anything like that, but it's not like it was 20, 25 years ago. I'll put it like that.
Yeah, it's very bad. I was listening to a podcaster.
It's very bad.
I'm sorry.
No, you're okay.
Yeah, I was listening to another podcaster, and he was talking about how it's just bad for the brothers, and it's with all women, not just it's bad for black women, it's all the women. The white women are bad. Everyone's bad, and they're talking about how dating was bad for them in Miami. That's a superficial big market, superficial town, man. And they just want the near whiteness for white guys. That's what they said they want.
Here's the
and
thing,
obsessed with it. They want whiteness.
Well, yes, that's true and not true. If you are a select black guy, very tall, hyper masculine, very good looking, you know that dude that have that look, yes, you're gonna clean up with all women of all races.
Yep.
But if you just an average looking Steve Urkel or Carson Banks, or what's that guy's name off of Family? Steve Urkel's dad off of Family Matters, or some Bill Cosby looking dude, or some Tracy Morgan or Chris Rock, or right, average looking guys. You're not gonna get no play like that.
Exactly.
And I'm sorry, but for me, I cannot accept that. I cannot accept being looked past every single day that I live, and you're passing by hundreds of different women. I don't like that. It's not a good
feeling. And you just do this look but don't touch, and then all of a sudden they try and falsely sell you some MLM scheme type of search deal by trying to say you need a dating coach. Oh God, They just as bad too. They're selling you a dream.
Hey Tony, how tall are you?
About 5'11".
5'11". What about you, brother?
5'8".
I'm over the same height, 5'8".
Yeah.
So it seems like, I mean, you got to be 6 foot now. I mean, you got to be 6 foot plus. You can't, if you're not that, you're just not.
It's true. It's true.
And also, you have to have some
Let me ask
swag
you a
and some
question,
charm.
Tony. Now, I remember guys said, "Listen, height wasn't a big." Oh wow, 5'1". I'm sorry, Marcus. Wow.
That's Spud Webb.
I'm sorry, brother.
Muggsy Bogues.
Can I tell you? Can I tell you guys?
Go ahead.
Can this OG tell you guys what it's all about now? That you will have if you have this, you will have no problem of how you look or anything. You know, women find more attractive than anything is money.
Yep.
That's what gets them every single time. It's financial.
Okay, that's
You know what I'm
true,
saying?
Tony. That's true, Uncle Tone. But hear me out.
But it's also personality.
Hold on, let me finish.
Swag.
You guys are so wrong. You guys are so wrong about that.
Let me tell you from experience.
Hear me. I'm telling you guys my current experience. Hear me out. How old are you? I know how old Tony is. How old are you, brother?
48.
And the time, how do you pronounce your name again? I'm sorry, I don't want to.
Well, I'm calling the stage name Jay Quite.
Quite. Okay, Jay Quite.
Yeah, Quite. Yeah.
So hear me out from a person who's living in his 20s in his current generation. Hear me out. You don't want to lead with the wallet because a woman who's not sexually attracted to you is going to use you just for your money, and that's not a good feeling. You just know that you're only here because I can pay.
I know.
So the most genuine form of attraction that you can have is physical attraction. So she's into you because she finds you sexy and attractive. That's what you want to have. So if you got to get in the gym, fix a receding hairline, get your teeth right, get your skin right, do what you got to do, get a beard, whatever. Do what you got to do to improve your looks as much as possible, because that's going to be the most genuine form of attraction.
Yes, let me tell y'all this. Okay, I agree with you saying smooth life, but let me tell you how things have changed and how money is becoming a big part of everything now. Unfortunately, it shouldn't be this way, but this is the way how it is. You guys know I work in the medical field, right? Okay. One time, I'll never forget this long as I live. I was invited to a party. One of the residents, you know, every year we give a party for the residents. You know, they go on to do their private practice, you know, doctors, right?
Say it one more time. You said you were invited to a party from residents?
I was invited to a party for the residents. They would usually go because it's be
the hotel. The hotel.
Yeah. Yes, for them, because they get ready, they did their residency, now they get ready to get jobs at other hospitals. Okay. To do their, you know, to be a surgeon or whatever it is that they're doing, right? So we give a party for them. So one time I was invited to the party, but my car broke down. So someone gave me a ride, okay, to the party. But after the party, I didn't have a ride back. So I asked one of the fellow physicians, I said, you know, I need a ride back home. You know, my car's in the shop, whatever. He said, sure. This guy, he had a Mitsubishi 3000 GTS.
Well, sorry, what year was this, by the way? What year or around what years was this?
Okay, this was back in the 90s when this happened.
I'm going to look that car up.
Okay. But it was a sharp-ass car. And it was a convertible. And he had chrome wheels on it. Okay. So we got into his car. He put the roof down. Leather seats. I mean, very high-end car. We was driving around downtown Detroit. I couldn't tell you how many times that women were throwing themselves at us. They were throwing it. They was actually balling up their phone numbers and throwing it in the car. I will never forget that long. Then one pulled up next to us at a light, said, "What you guys doing? Where you guys going? Let's party. Let's do." We never got with none of them. But it's something about financial. When you become financially successful in this country, in America, men are judged by the size of their pockets.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, it's like that. When you're walking around, when you don't have a job, when you don't have a car, when you don't have nothing to bring to the table, most of the time, what's so sad about it, they have nothing to bring to the table. But a lot of men has made them spoiled that way. So that's why they act that way. And I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of the women in Colombia are that way too. They're very flaky like that. Because foreigners have came over there. Because I remember back in the day before everybody even knew about Colombia, you used to be able to take a beautiful girl for ice cream. And that's all you really need to do. But not no more. Not no more. Like Barbie, she like to be wine and dined.
But do you know what that is though, Tone?
What's that, brother?
It's because men have become such simps. And women
There you go.
Have so many options now.
That's what I'm talking about.
They can afford to be picky. So men chase them so much now, and that's because of dating apps, really.
Yeah.
I remember people used to say, okay, so you're 48, so you're gonna remember this. Let me ask you, Quill. Now, before you're old enough to remember like dating back in the 90s and early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Were women as hung up on height as they are now back then?
I'm going to be totally honest.
No, I'm gonna ask Quill first, and then I get you.
They weren't as hung up.
They weren't as hung up.
Oh, okay. I thought you was asking me. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, they weren't as hung up. You know why they're so hung up now? Because they see social media and they see their friends saying, he gotta be 6'1", he gotta be 6'2", he gotta be 6'.
Yeah, well, social media's they want attention too. They want to be seen with the thing that the social media people are saying it's the hot thing, the top thing, and it makes it superficial on steroids.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so it's just a lot of stuff. Like I remember some other guy said, man, I'm 5'8", same height. He's like, man, this height used to never be such a thing as it is now. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, wasn't that much of a thing. As much as it is now.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. If you're short, it's really hard because I have a friend of mine, real cool guy I work with, and he said that most of the dates that he goes on, the women said that they don't prefer someone his size.
How tall is he?
He's like, man, 5'6", 5'5", maybe. Yeah. Yeah. And they, I think that's kind of cruel in a way, sometimes the way how they say it, but it's so bad now. It's like I don't even put forth the effort anymore.
And that's the thing. Yeah. See, and that's why I like to travel on Tone, because it's sad and you got to hear something like that.
It is.
And that's why I'm the same way, because it's like I've approached enough women here in different settings. People say, well, you approaching girls at clubs. I said, you know what? Fine. I started to approach girls in a grocery store and nothing happened there. So what is it now? Right?
Well,
at work, nothing happens, right? So
you got to watch yourself at work, man.
No, but I'm just saying I'm giving you multiple examples of me approaching.
But there's also another example that some people try and say, which used to work, which was doing activities.
Of course, but I'm just saying.
But now it's not working as much because they in their clicks too.
I've approached girls in multiple settings and it has not worked.
Yeah,
so that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah,
but let me tell you this: do you know most of the movie stars are short guys? Like
they're not tall. They're not tall at all.
Yeah,
they're like at most 5'9", 5'10".
Yeah, like Tom Cruise and stuff. But you know how they get so many women?
Because they're Tom Cruise.
And what else? They're big network.
They're good looking. They have great status and they have good fame.
Financial.
And networking too. And networking.
And this is why I like to push back on dudes. Like, listen, you can be financially great. Like but Danny DeVito, the actor, right? He has millions of dollars. But women are jockeying for him only when he flaunts his money. But how's a woman gonna know if you have money if you're just walking down the street sometimes, right? So don't get me wrong, is money important? Absolutely. But I like to, like these women are not sometimes like Bill Gates. He's an average looking dude. If he wasn't Bill Gates, you wouldn't know that he had billions. So
Yep.
it's about. Don't get me wrong. It is having finances is always going to be a plus.
It's a big plus.
But they're with
huge plus.
In my opinion, they're with Tom Cruise because it's Tom Cruise, not because his money is second. That's Tom Cruise, baby, right? It's the same thing. That's still that.
I mean, Tom Cruise. He's not all that, but like I said, he's a multimillionaire. He's
Tom Cruise is a megastar.
He's a megastar, and they say mega millions. They know that he's on a different. He's different.
I'm gonna give you a perfect example then, Uncle Tom. Remember, I don't know if you've seen that video that came out a couple of years ago with Leonardo DiCaprio and Jeff Bezos.
Yes.
Remember when Leonardo DiCaprio had his girl?
Yes.
Now Jeff Bezos has much, much more money. He's one of the most richest people in the world, flat out.
Yes.
But how come Leonardo DiCaprio was able to shark his girl? If money was such a great factor, like you say it is, how come he's able to shark his girl?
I'm telling you know what, I can't. Every situation is different. I'm not saying, matter of fact, I'm not saying every girl is that way, because from what I heard, you remember Mini Me from Austin Powers? Mini Me?
Yeah,
the little short guy?
Yeah.
From what I heard, he was a heartbreaker. No, for real. Women would cry over it. He don't want to talk to me. I mean, these beautiful models. That was crazy about that guy. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's just this way or just money, but it just seemed like society just became more selfish and just self-absorbed. I think social media has really, really ruined it, I think. Because especially these Colombian girls from Medellin, they stay on social media all the time. They be like just posing and with these outfits on and doing stuff, and
so they do a lot of Heisman poses.
Yeah.
You know why I push us? Hey, Uncle Tom, can you pull up Marcus's comments? Because I'm gonna try to help him. Because he looks like a young guy and we're kind of the same boat here. He said, due to me being 5'1", that made me a target. Here's the thing, though, I have morals. I don't like women in general who are not genuine. Okay, the next comment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He said, nowadays, money matters more than how you look. Okay, if that was the truth, guys, if money mattered more than how you look, I'm going to give you guys a question. Why is it that the guy who is 6'4", buff, nice body, hyper masculine, and good looking, but is broke on his couch, able to take a girl out and sleep with her for little or nothing? But you, the guy with money who has to spend hundreds to thousands of dollars in order to get the cookie. If money was more important, why is it the broke, dusty thug Tyrone that has it in the physical department, but does not have it in the money department? How come he's able to sleep with her for free down there and you got to pay?
Well, are you asking me the question or you asking?
Anybody can answer, just in general, him or anybody, Marcus, Tone, anybody.
Well, sometimes those guys like that, they have some type of what you call some street swag or edge to add to those looks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what gets them. If it's a physical, maybe they'll just deal with them for like the moment. But if it's the dude that got swag and stuff, she'll find a way to see if that dude has potential or try and make him get that potential and stick with him, even though he's not any good. So
here's your Go ahead.
So it's the personality and the height and the look and stuff that makes those bottom dudes or just those guys stick around.
Listen, there's some guys out there who don't have that swag. They're average looking, they're average acting men. They're not charismatic. They're just average men, but they're really good looking, right? And really a physical specimen, and yet they still get the draws. They don't have to, and this is why I say they don't have to use game and all these tactics. Game is for guys who lack it in the physical looks department, and they got to make up for it with their mouthpiece.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why the game was created. There's some guys out there who don't have to really, they don't understand what it means to have to actually really work for some cookie. There's some guys out there who have to do that, who's like that, right? Don't get me wrong, guys. I understand what you guys are saying, but we gotta, as men, we gotta rethink the way that we think, because to help, man, because I want, because I understand that a lot of guys are going through it. Like Tony, I feel for you, Uncle Tony. You haven't, had a woman in 2 years here. I'm not sure your predicament, Quell, but we're all in the same boat here, and we have to have honest conversations and how we're going to get better. Go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this from a person that's been in the game for almost 40 years. Okay. Everything is not the same. Every woman is not the same. But the problem with today is that's different from when I came up like in the 80s, like 85, in the late 70s, is that there's no more love. Nobody love each other anymore. Because I told you, back in the day, like the mid 70s to 80s, the mid to the late 70s, you used to see couples walking hand in hand down the street all the time. Black couples. You used to see them at the park. You see a guy actually push the girl on the swing. You would actually see a girl and a guy at the Dairy Queen getting ice cream together. You used to see people when they get married, they used to decorate their cars with flowers and stuff and blow their horns, and it'd be like several other cars behind them celebrating their marriage. Just got married. You don't see that anymore. Because Bible prophecy said, for the love of many in the last days shall wax cold. And that's what you're seeing. They are waxing cold. It was a girl, let me tell you this. I was at work Sunday. And there was this beautiful Asian girl that was down in one of the labs I work in. And I said, man, maybe I need to try to holler at her, see what's up, So I just started talking to her, and she talked to me just for a second. And I just felt like it was just so cold.
Say it one more time, Uncle Tone. Like, explain it a little bit more. Say
you talking about
the story again.
I was working Sunday. I was at work, and there was this Asian girl working in the lab.
How old was she?
How old is she?
How old she look around?
Maybe about 30 or something like that, maybe.
Okay.
And she was just sitting there. She's very attractive young lady, nice looking young lady. And I said, hey, how you doing? And she said, oh, I'm doing fine. What about you? I said, I'm good, just working hard, very busy day. I'm very professional, as I'm approaching her and stuff. But it just seemed like the more we talked, the more cold she became. And then when I looked at her, she couldn't even look at me. It's like I wasn't good enough to even talk to her. So I just said, well, you just have a good day. Don't work too hard. And she's like, oh, thank you. Bye. That's how women are now. Okay,
she was like,
have a good day.
Right? She was like, thank you, bye. She's like, thank you, bye, and like walked away quick, huh?
I just walked away.
No, her. She was like, thank you, bye, and kind of walked away quick, or you walked away?
Well, she just put her head back down like she didn't want to talk. I said, okay, I'll walk away. But this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a coldness from people that I've never seen before. And that's why y'all be saying, well, why you want to go to Colombia and stuff? When I go there, sometimes the girls' motives is for money. I ain't gonna lie, all of them not the same. But what I get from there, I do get that warm, homey, loving feeling from those females down there. Like Barbie, for example, she's beautiful. She doesn't fuss. She doesn't holler at me. She doesn't look at me like I'm nothing. She's very easy to please, and she's super fine.
Yeah.
If Barbie would come to the States, she would be rated as a supermodel with no problem. But she's sweet, soft, come sit on your lap. Let me ask you a good question. When was the last time a girl sat on your lap and just massaged your scalp and put her fingers through your hair? When was the last time somebody did that to you? When was the last time you laid on your stomach and they got on your back and gave you a nice massage, you know, relax your shoulders and stuff, make you feel better? How long has that been? How long? When was the last time somebody ever told you that they love you? How long? You don't get that no more.
And so, dang, Tone, I kind of feel you, man, on this. It's kind of making my heart ache.
Yeah, because those girls in Colombia, they're very romantic, man. Because when I go to the mall, they just grab your hand and you be like a couple.
Yeah,
you be walking up and down the mall. Say, oh, look at my girlfriend. Oh, wow, you know, look at her. You know, I got my Colombian shirt on and stuff. You know.
Yeah, and then you come back to this crap here in
You
America.
come back to this crap.
And then me, I'm almost like, oh, I gotta go to this again. I gotta go to this again. And I want to like boo and jeer the Buffalo Bills because it ain't mean and cold there.
And Tone, I feel you, brother, about that. That moment you felt like she didn't want to be bothered, like you just was just you were nothing in her mind, right?
Nothing.
I understand you, brother, and that's the reason why I like to travel, because it makes me feel like a human being. It makes me feel
like a human being, right?
It makes me feel like I'm sexually wanted and desired, you know, and there's somebody, you know, and that's a great feeling for a man to have.
Right. That's why I recommend if you guys ever find, I'm gonna close this live in a minute. We've been here for almost 3 hours.
Hey, Marcus Brown, to answer your question, bro, you're 5'1". Tell me how old you are, but if you're 5'1", bro, travel overseas. I'm telling you this to help you out. I'm not telling you this to. You're not gonna have much success here, man. You gotta get out of state.
You have to go.
You gotta go. At 5'1", bro, don't even try to work out. Don't nothing. Yeah, boy, at 21, bro. I'm trying to tell you, my brother. I'm 25, man. So I'm a little bit older than you, but we're around the same age. Man, get out of here, man. Go travel.
Get out of the dump. Get out of the pit.
They don't treat you like a man. They view you like a little boy. They're not sexually attracted to you. So get out of here, man. I'm trying to help you. Traveling, I guarantee you, man, you start going to some of these third world countries, you will have more success dating.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why I tell people, I warn people. I said, whatever you do, when you find your Colombian wife or when you find your Thai girlfriend or wife, don't bring them back to the States. Whatever you do, don't do it.
Hell no.
No, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Because your Thai wife, when she gets Americanized, she's gone. And once people be putting negative thoughts and stuff about you, and you know, yeah, I wouldn't want her around this environment. I want her in her country where she can flourish. Like Barbie. Barbie will flourish in her own country. She just flourishes. Every time I see her, she just the Colombian environment, just with those mountains and that fresh air and that sunshine and stuff. It just, I don't know, there's something about it. It's just, you know.
Yeah.
It's like when I'm in Medellin. It's like it's Friday every single day. That's how I feel like. It's Friday. Like that's something to do, you know. What we gonna do today, you know?
Oh,
where we gonna go?
Tony, that girl at your work, I don't know if she's, you know, that coworker at your work. That your first time like interacting with her?
Well, when I go down there and get, you know, things that I need, I've interacted with her before, you know. And I'm gonna be honest with you. If I wouldn't have said nothing to her, she would not have said not one word to me. I had to go out my way. I said, hey, hello, how you doing? She said, I'm fine. I said, my name is Tony. I work upstairs. She said, oh, pleased to meet you. You know, the key maker is here. What's up, brother? The key maker is here. Why won't you go to safer countries like Cuba, Costa Rica, Panama, or Thailand? I am going to Thailand, key maker. That's my next destination, and my retirement destination is Thailand. Panama, I don't know. Costa Rica, I don't know. Cuba. I should go to some of these places, but Barbie got me spoiled. That's why key maker. Let me see. Barbie, no. Matter of fact, I talked to her last week. She's doing fine. No, Barbie, she's too pretty. But Barbie, she's very pretty, but her mind is not like stuck up. Like she's not like, oh, I know I'm pretty. I know I'm, even though she's fine as she could be, but she doesn't have that. I like her mentality. She's easygoing. It doesn't take much to satisfy her. We can go for a walk to the mall and get some ice cream and some donuts at Dunkin'. They have a Dunkin' Donuts, or we get some Dunkin' Donuts. We'll sit up and we eat the Dunkin' Donuts, and she just, just beautiful, good vibes, good vibes.
I wouldn't trust her. Yeah.
I don't trust anybody. Costa Rica has pretty theft and robberies. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. They do have robberies and stuff there too. No, you can't trust anybody.
So Tony, I know you don't want to be dealing with that type of like treatment anymore. So, so like, what is it? Other women? I mean, in general, is other women at your work like that too? Very cold with you?
There's some of them. A lot of them are very nice. They're very nice. But man, I bet a lot of women gonna get mad at me when I'm getting ready to say.
Say it.
Okay, I live in Detroit, right? All right. I remember 25 years ago. I'm going back now because I'm the OG. I've been doing this for a very long time. They used to call Detroit Chocolate City. I remember back in the 80s, like 1981, 82, just before I was coming out of high school, you used to drive past the high schools, and most of the girls that used to come out of these high schools was at least maybe like a 9 or 10. I'm not joking. We'd be like, damn. The whole time we'd be in the bus or in the van where we'd be going somewhere or something like that. But now, it's like most of the women here are morbidly obese. They don't care. They wear house shoes.
Leon Seals,
weaves
defensive tackle for the Detroit Lions.
I'm like, what is going on? It's like they don't care anymore.
Yeah.
They don't have to care because the men accept low standards.
Yeah, they do. Happened. I mean, if they can, well, here's the thing. If they can't get the if they can't get the high quality, hey, they need to get anything. So I'll take anything and use the Shallow Hal goggles.
Man,
they'll fight for them. And it's a competition for that too. Come on, man.
There's some cats out there that don't have any floor. I mean, their floor is just all the way at the bottom of hell. I mean, they just go scrape bottom, and
I don't know what happened, but I went to a wedding the other day, and I think 90% of the women that were sitting up there talking about they wanted us, all of them were morbidly obese.
Oh, God.
They don't exercise. They don't take care of themselves. I'm like, what? No, I'm saying it, especially in the healthcare field. A lot of them are having like very serious, like medical problems, like diabetes and stuff like that. I'm talking about y'all age. I ain't talking about no old people.
Hey.
Jesus.
I'm talking about y'all age. I'm like, say, what the hell are you guys are doing? But 25 years ago, 30 years ago, you didn't see that.
No.
If you did, it was very rare.
And guess what?
And in the last decade, that was actually still had some fit females, was in the 1990s, early to mid 90s. Yeah. You saw the R&B group in Vogue. Look how fun they are.
Yeah.
They weren't wearing all that crazy dyed hair and all those eyelashes and raptor claws and stuff. I mean,
raptor claws. Yep, that's what they are.
And maybe and you didn't see them like. And also, this is not including just black girls, but with white girls. If I go to Walmart, I'm seeing people, or even on college campus, they're wearing like pajama bottoms and slippers.
Yeah,
like they roll out of bed.
Yeah, it's great. It's sad.
And you can't tell these women anything. Felicia Rashad tried to tell the girls, you you gotta dress better, and all those girls did was push back.
Yep. They don't want to hear no authority. They don't want to.
They're beyond reproach.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. I started things going. You know what? I remember back in 2001, let me tell you this, back in 2001, between 2001 and 2004, things were a little better. I remember I used to get on this dating app. It wasn't a dating app. It was a
Match.com?
No, it was called Lava Life. It was a phone dating service.
Oh.
And I ain't gonna lie, between 2001 2004, you used to meet some really nice looking women on that dating site. I met some really nice looking women on there. Okay, back in those days. But it seemed like when the economic crisis happened in 2008, that's when everything went to hell.
Yep. That's also
when
when
the 2008 crisis happened. That's when things really started to change, and things began to go down and down and down and down and down and down. And then another thing that really messed up, it was a lot of crazy. It's not just on the women's prop. It's not the women's fault, but it was the guys' fault because there were a lot of women that was becoming missing, being unalived. There was this one guy that really messed up that dating service. He was purposely
Craigslist.
He was not Craigslist, but it was Lava Life.
Backpage.
And no, it was one of those other dating sites that he was on, and he was purposely going from girl to girl, spreading HIV on purpose.
Ooh.
And that just really destroyed the whole dating culture. It was never the same because Fox News was talking about it. But they called him though. They finally called him though, and
Mark,
they put him to prison.
Would you rather a woman actually take care of herself, dressing nice, and taking care of herself, or would you rather her be wearing a bonnet like these chicks do in the States? Come on now, bro.
I've never seen a girl with a bonnet on her head, not one freaking time.
The only thing before, I think in the early 2000s, before the bonnet was like a do-rag, and before that you had the girls, and I think these are white girls too, they wore curlers and stuff.
Yeah,
but that's been it.
Yeah,
but the bonnet
yeah,
is ultimate death right there.
yeah. I've never seen that in Colombia. My girls, they always just go to bed with their hair just the way it is. They don't put nothing on their head.
And then
if you're wearing bonnets, it's usually to go to sleep.
They may tie it up. They may tie it up or something like that, or put it up or something like that. But I've never seen them with anything on their heads. Never, not once.
Do they take care of themselves when they step out more, Tony?
Oh, Colombians, yes they do.
Yeah.
Yes they do. Yes they do. They spend hours in that mirror. Yes they do. Even we go into the store, they be doing this and doing that and doing this. I say, baby, you look fine. You're fine. Move in. Very good, you know. But they make sure they look good when they leave, when they go out.
How's that hygiene? How's that hygiene though?
Oh man. When Barbie, let me tell you something. Her skin is so soft, and her hair is so pretty. I just sit there just playing her hair all freaking day long. I just smell it, and it smells like milk, man. Like honey and milk. Like it's just something about them. It just goes through your whole. You just be feeling so good. Like, man, you smell so good. You smell them on their neck, on their shoulders. You smell the hair, and they're very good kissers too, man. Oh my God. Yes, sir. Yep.
You about to, Tony? You about to I don't know what's about to happen to you right now, because it look like you could die right now and go to heaven.
I could die right now, man. I could die right now. Go to heaven, man. It's like I miss it, man. I mean, we work hard every day, and it would be nice to come home to a decent meal cooked every now and then, or come home. Someone tell you that, how was your day at work? How you doing? To take care of you, Because, I am getting older now. I'm getting up in age a little bit, And I'm still in good shape, just like anything else. But I look at the end game. This world that we live in, We don't know what that's going to be tomorrow or not. You know what I'm saying? We don't know.
Well, Marcus, you know what, bro? You stay your ass back in the matrix. If you don't want to trust our word for it, stay here and struggle.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help you, man.
Marcus, I think the Philippines would be good for you.
Philippines would be great for you, brother. I went to the Philippines, man. You can hit me up. I can tell you about my experience. A lot of those guys are short.
I think he's scared of going there and failing miserably.
Rejection, yeah.
Because we've seen too much of it, and it's like, look, I don't want to deal with it anymore. That's why I don't like going to these bars and clubs here in the New York area. I avoid it.
No.
I'll just go to the sports bar and watch some games, but I'll watch what I eat though there.
Now, Quail, do you? How's your love life going?
Oh God, please! I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's bad. That's what I'll say.
It's bad. Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to go to those places. I'll try and do those meetup mixers. They were working in the 2000 teens before COVID, but then after that, the girls don't show up, and it's not quality.
Yeah.
And
I've been to one of those before.
Yeah, it's not good, particularly in New York anymore. And there's no incentive for these girls to go there. And that's my comfort, because I don't like going to clubs where there's too many clicks, number one, and that girlfriends are chop blocking. I don't call it cock blocking. I call it chop blocking, like an offensive lineman taking down the defensive lineman or something like that. And bars are just as bad. Don't matter what color or race it is to me. And if you're like a little bit awkward in talking, you're not able to fight through and win those things, then you're done. I rarely get that. I was getting most of the places through mixers and activities. And that's why I say activities, because at least those ladies at that time are just maybe looking to maybe meet somebody new, but that's it. So
right.
Yeah, for sure. I think mixers are always great places. When you say that, so you're saying at the singles events, there's more guys and girls there in New York?
Yeah, now there is.
Yeah.
And also the girls that go there aren't really the quality anymore either. A lot of those so-called prettier girls, they're trying to get clout and get attention.
Yeah.
At bars and clubs or being on social media or something.
Yeah.
It's a hot mess, man.
Yeah.
It makes me that's part of the reason why I'm avoiding going to Manhattan at times. Not just and not make me want to pay just the tolls for the Holland and Lincoln Tunnel, but also the extra congestion plan as well.
Yeah. It's it's really bad. So that's why
I've done the salsa thing, but they're just in Jersey, but it's just they're kind of in their cliques. So I do what I can.
Yeah.
Hey, Marcus, brother, we're not gonna make fun of you on here.
Nah.
Don't you think you can have an open and honest conversation, man? Don't think that any of us, we all mature, we understand, we all going through the same things, man. This is an open discussion, man. So feel free to hop on. We're not gonna make fun of you. That's the last thing we're gonna ever do.
Okay. Yeah. That's why I do these lives, man. I do it because I care. I love you guys, man. I just want y'all to be happy and live your life while you can, while you have it, because we don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring.
Yeah, like what happened in DR, man. That's a shame.
Yeah. See, another thing too that's hurting the dating field. This one thing I forgot to mention that's really hurting the dating culture. It's economics, not so much of you or me, but it's the environment. If women are thinking more of how they're going to pay their bills and how they're going to take care of their children or how they're going to do things, they're less likely to be romantic. Did you know that?
Yes, but if it depends, because if it's in like a crisis situation and they gonna have to try to figure out where their next meal is coming from,
yeah,
if society has collapsed, they're gonna get under men. But yeah, in this current environment, yes.
Yeah, their minds it's not on romance and stuff, but just to tell y'all this, then I'm gonna leave this live. But just to tell you this, the number one priority on the top that women that you gotta have, unfortunately, rather than your looks or how short you are, how tall you are, is financial. Because I'm gonna tell you something, even in Thailand, if you don't believe me, ask Bernie, what's his name? Zoom to Thailand. Richie Mack. You know, just talk to him. He knows what's up. And most of the people I've learned and that I've talked to that's in Thailand that have girlfriends, those girls usually date you by arrangement. If you know what I mean by arrangement. You do this for me, I do this for you. The same in Colombia. You do this for me, I do this for you, which is very, very unfortunate, but that's the way how life is now. Okay?
Okay.
Well, you guys be safe.
Yeah.
I know y'all probably got to go to work in the morning and everything.
Yeah, I got to
Make sure
go
y'all
work
like
tomorrow.
anybody that's on this live right now.
Yeah.
Y'all
Are you on
donate to
Instagram,
it.
by the way?
Huh?
Are you on Instagram, by the way?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah. Do I got my Instagram up here? Hold on, let me see if I can.
All right, Quail. All right, Tony, man. You guys have a good one. Nice talking with you, fellas.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
you too.
take care. Be safe.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you my. Do I got my Instagram out here? Okay, my Instagram is easy. It's Tony MA40. That's what it is.
Tony, hold on, Tony.
TONY.
Okay.
Tony
Okay.
NY. M as in Mary. A as in Apple. 40.
Okay.
Tony Ma 40. Matter of fact, I'm going to put it on the description of this live when I come off of it. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Brother,
Yeah,
it was
I'll
nice
try and
meeting
shoot
you
a
on
message.
live. Yeah. Brother, it was good talking to you on this live.
Same here.
And you be careful out there. Everybody be careful out there. If there's any crazy things coming up, I'm definitely going to let you know.
All right, man.
But the thing that really got me really nervous about that El Salvador thing, that is really, I don't know, that's very concerning, you know.
Yeah.
If the
That's scary.
the Supreme Court told you to bring him back and you defy the Supreme Court, I mean, come on. I mean, who's in charge? You know what I'm saying?
Jesus.
Who's in charge? The Supreme Court say bring him home, and the guy
Cancels the order.
in Salvador, he said
he subverts him.
So
no
even
checks and balances.
So even if Trump wanted to bring him back, he couldn't bring him back anyway. The guy in Salvador say he's not gonna let him go. Yeah, that's too bad. That's too bad. Okay, brothers.
All right.
You all have a good night.
You too.
Love you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.